Welcome to our regular council meeting. Before we start, I'm going to apologize before I get going. I didn't get much sleep last night. The Blue Jays won, and I was busy all night with that, so I'm tired, but it was well worth it, so thank you very much. I'll call this meeting to order at 9:30, and I will confirm that all members of council are here and present, and that our municipal clerk is here as well. Our territorial land acknowledgement, we respectively acknowledge the township of Allen-McCullum is located on the Mississauga and Anishinaabe territory and is the traditional territory of the Mississaugan and Anishinaabeg. The township of Allen-McCullum respectively acknowledges that the Mississauga Nation are the collective stewards and caretakers of these lands and waters in perpetuity, and that they continue to maintain this responsibility to ensure their health and integrity for generations to come. Moving on to the approval of the agenda, that the agenda of the committee of the whole meeting held on October 21st, 2025 be approved. If I can move to seconder. Moved by Councilor Booth, second by Deputy Mayor Stolberg. All in favor? Motion is carried. Are there any pecuniary interests or general nature thereof? Both direct and indirect? Yes, go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Good morning, Mayor Loco. This morning I will be declaring a pecuniary interest. It has to do with Agenda 11.1. It has to do with the financial Q3 reporting, particularly the library board budget figures, and the reason is the continued litigation. Thank you.
Thank you. You feel like the form?
I will.
Okay. No, it's okay. Okay, now we duly noted. Does anybody else have any pecuniary interest to declare? Seeing none. This morning we have delegations, and our first one is from Vanilla Hall fee reduction request, and the delegation is from Darlene Barrett and Shelley Kay from the Alderville Pioneer Group. Are you here this morning? Would you please come to the front of the table?
Shelley could not make it. I have Sandra instead. Is that okay?
Sure.
Thank you.
You're allowed two people. And as long as we know your names, and that's really all there is.
Perfect. Thank you.
And just so you know, I'm not sure you probably understand the rules. The clerk probably told you, but you're allowed up to 10 minutes.
I'll be much shorter than that. I've never done this before, and I'm a little nervous.
Okay,
Yes.
well, don't be nervous.
I'm sure.
I didn't get your name.
Sandra.
Sandra?
Mm-hmm.
And your last name, Sandra? Your last name, Sandra?
Dargavel, D-A-R-G-A-V-E-L. D-A-R, Gavel, G-A-V-E-L.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Darlene, please go ahead.
Well, good morning, council members. Thank you for the opportunity to let me speak before you. My name is Darlene Barrett, and I'm here as a representative for the Alderville Pioneer Group of Alcoholics Anonymous. My reason for appearing this morning is to request a community service amendment to the proposed half-day rental rate of $90 for the 4 hours use of the Fenella Community Center. Currently, we are paying $26.10 plus taxes for each weekly meeting. As you can see, this is a significant jump. The Alderville Pioneer Group was established in 1975, and this year marks our 50th year of making a profound difference in the lives of people suffering from alcohol addiction. Many, if not all, would be menaces to society if not for Alcoholics Anonymous. Our group is part of a worldwide organization that began in 1935 and as of 2021 has helped over 1.9 million people recover from a potentially deadly disease. The Alderville Pioneer Group of Alcoholics Anonymous has been meeting every week at the Fenella Community Center since either 94 or 95, and I was told was originally offered this space for free at the time. This offer was not accepted by Alcoholics Anonymous, as we can only accept volunteer contributions from AA members, as stated in our 7th tradition. Every group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. That's what our 7th tradition is. In December of 2004, there was actually a contract signed between the Alderville Pioneer Group and Almond Haldeman Township for an annual fee of $1,200, working out to be approximately $23 a week. Over the past 52 weeks, a typical meeting and our 7th donation has been $28 collected for that night at our lowest week, and up to $65 for our highest. These amounts are what we must rely upon to cover our rent, and then we provide coffee, tea, sugar, milk, and then when a milestone of sobriety is attained, either 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, we purchase a small medallion and purchase a cake. Obviously, we do not have a lot of spending money, and it is all put into the group meetings for the support of the members. There are also 2 Ontario conferences that occur annually, and in the past, we have a representative that attends from our group. These event fees are covered by the weekly donations and can run up to $400 to $500 for travel, food, accommodation. And this year, we will have 2 of our members attend the event, the final weekend of this month. We regularly welcome newcomers and those who are attending their first meetings. These first meetings are critical to the success of the newcomer. We charge nothing, give freely of our time in hopes we can assist others in becoming sober. We could not begin to guess the number that have been helped by our Alderville meeting over the past 50 years that we've opened our doors. Our location is also very important. The closest meetings to Fenella are Bewdley, going east, Coburg going south, Warkworth or Coburg, or up to Havelock. It's crucial that there be continued meetings to maintain the ongoing process for ongoing sobriety. 2025, the International World Convention in Vancouver had 48,000 recovering alcoholics attending from over 75 countries and marking the 90-year anniversary of Alcoholics Anonymous. It's groups like ours up in the Fenella Community Center that make up the membership worldwide. In closing, we hope you can see the importance of maintaining this critical community support opportunity for our current members and future struggling alcoholics to come. Any significant increase in rental fees would inevitably force us to close our group in the area and leave a considerable gap of assistance in our joint Alderville area. Imagine 48,000 families who got a family member back, 48,000 people that get opportunity for a new life, 48,000 people that quite likely will not be a menace to society at all due to Alcoholics Anonymous available somewhere in some country, in some city or town, like our little Alderville. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much for your report, Darlene. Appreciate it. Would you like to speak, Paul?
I can break my anonymity, but I started that group when I was 16. I've been sober for 35 years. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here. But I don't know why I'm crying. I just, like, if it wasn't for that group, I wouldn't be sober today and I would have died. Because we need it. Thank you.
And on that note, that was also the group that I went to for my very first meeting. And I don't have the amount of sobriety time as Sandra here. I only have 2 years. But if it wasn't for the warm welcome of that group, I don't know where I would be today. So it is fundamental that we do not lose any of our groups. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to open it up to members of council. Any questions or comments? Go ahead, Councillor Booth.
Through your worship, just some points of, maybe Darlene, you could clarify, what dates during the week are you meeting now and how many hours is it?
We meet every Wednesday evening, and we use the 4-hour window. We're generally there about 3.5 hours every Wednesday night. And even last year, we were there Christmas evening and New Year's. We were there holding meetings, and they were actually well attended. Our Christmas evening on the 25th. For that small group, we probably had about 20 people show up. That's quite significant, given the fact that most people are with family on Christmas.
And so what time is it? Like, are you meeting 7 to 10, 6 to 9? What?
The meeting itself goes from 8 till 9. People generally show up. We'll set up ahead of time, so we'll be there about 6:30, 7 o'clock, set up, and people will show up earlier, like 7:30 to, basically it's a meet and greet, connect, have some coffee. Some people will bring snacks and cookies. That's just donated by members who show up. So it's basically, the meeting itself is from 8 till 9.
Okay, and I couldn't write it down fast enough when you were talking, and how much do you pay for each meeting?
$26.10 plus tax.
And you're asking for, you were talking about, is there an increase or something happening, or no, you just want a reduction?
What's happened is there, apparently the half daily rental rate is jumping to $90. And unless we get approval from the council for a reduced rate, that would be the rate, and that would close us. Obviously, as I said, our meeting, it's actually last week was our $28. That's what came in last week. As I'm the treasurer, I have the records of what we collect each week. And $65 is rare. Generally, it would be around $35, $45, depending on how many arrive. And it's all whatever somebody could put into the donation.
Okay, so you're looking for just to keep it at 26.10 then?
That would be perfect if we could maintain that. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Through you, Mayor Local, thank you for your courage to come today, both of you. I really respect that. I support, just so you know, I do support the reduced pay for the hours. And again, thank you for coming. It means a lot. And I do know that you have helped a lot of people, and it is a service that needs to stay in place. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mayor.
I really appreciate you coming. I learned a lot from your presentation today. I did know that your group was meeting there because members of the community had talked about how important it was for them and for our community, and that I should be making sure we were taking care of you. So thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
My one question was, you didn't really say how many members you have, or I didn't catch it.
I did not say how many members. Currently, we have dropped in membership. We have 5 active members, but that is not who show up. It is members from anywhere in the area.
Okay.
We have people who show up, they're visiting family from out of town, and they find out where meetings are held, and they come. We have 2 new members, so actually I think we're at 7 now. 2 new members that are brand new. One just received his chip for 2 months sobriety, and he is a new member in our group. another one who has, he hasn't actually officially joined the group, which is just all officially joining the group is saying, I'd like to be a member of your group, that's it. And he's got a couple of weeks.
My next question is my final one. So you meet on Wednesdays.
Yes,
Do you work with the other local, agencies, I'm gonna call it, like if somebody meet on Wednesday, you meet on Wednesday, somebody else meet on Friday, so that your members could go to that one?
we go, sorry, Joe, we can go to any meeting, any AA meeting, anywhere worldwide. All we need to do is look on what's available. We can go to a meeting every day of the week. There are online meetings. People who are working their sobriety. I attend generally 2 to 3 meetings a week. So there are people who will attend meetings daily. Some who are really struggling that will attend 2 meetings a day. That's also quite common.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. I'll read the resolution, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Through your worship, can I just mention something else too? Has your organization looked into the donations grant that we offer that's out right now on the website?
No, we are, as I stipulated, we have what's called our 7th tradition, which means unless you are a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, and all you have to do is to become a member, say, I'm an alcoholic. You have to be an alcoholic to contribute to Alcoholics Anonymous. This is where,
So your organization can't apply for a grant through the township that would
no,
reduce their, no? Okay.
no, we cannot accept anything.
Okay.
This is why when the group started out 50 years ago, originally, the location was given, it wasn't at the Fenella location, it was at some location in Alderville. And it was being offered free. And we could not accept that because that's considered a donation. And it was started out as a minimal fee because we would have to contribute something. We would have to pay something, otherwise it would be contribution from the township.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the resolution reads that the committee of the whole received a delegation from Darlene Barrett and Sandra, and I didn't catch your last name. Thank you. On Fenella Hall rental fee reduction request for information. Can I get moved to second? Moved by Councillor Booth, seconded by Councillor O'Neill. Any further questions? All in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you very much for your presentation, ladies,
Thank you.
and have a good afternoon.
Can I understand motion carried? What was,
Sorry, if that's okay. It is that at this point, we've only received it for information. We're not taking an action at this time, so it'll come back to us to decide on an action.
okay.
And, we'll make sure someone emails you to let you know when a decision on an action will be discussed.
As you can tell, I'm new. Thank you.
Yeah.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, as we're just discussing the procedure here, with committee of the whole, there's a member of council that wants to make a recommendation to council to support the fee request from the delegation. Now is the time in which you make the recommendation to yourselves. You would have a debate here at this present moment in time, and that recommendation then goes forward to council for ratification. So this would be your moment to make that decision based on the information you just received.
Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Mayor Lowell, I'd like to make that recommendation that the council receives this information and supports it.
What are you supporting?
The fee reduction that this group is requesting.
They can't take your, my understanding is that they can't take a donation.
No, they're not taking a donation, but the other thing, it would be that their rental fee stays status quo at $26.10 and not be increased. Would that cover it, Madam Clerk?
Through Mr. Mayor, as a matter of wordsmithing, that the rental fee for the Alderville Pioneer Group be reduced to be set at $26 per weekly meeting.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your seconder? Second by Councilor Booth.
Yeah.
Discussion? Yep, go ahead.
I'm just wondering if you'd be acceptable to an amendment. I like that it's set at 2610 or whatever it is, but I think to be fair to the next councils and that should be for this year and next year. And then there's a new council in the end of 2026, and then this group then can come and approach them. But I think it's fair that I would say for the rest of this year and for next year. That way we're not tying future councils and everybody else to the same amount, if you're acceptable to that. So
I want to amend that.
I'd like to make an amendment to say that it be for 2025 and 2026.
Thank you.
Mayor Lowell, I wouldn't accept that amendment. I don't see,
You need a seconder.
okay.
Greg, you need a seconder.
Yeah.
Can I get a seconder with Greg's motion? Go ahead, Mayor Godfrey.
I'll second it, but I do have a comment on it. He made the amendment. Do you have any further? And then I'll speak to it.
Yep.
I do agree. I think that this is the kind of thing that does need to have an ongoing review, whether it's every term of council or every 5 years. My preference, having been a brand new councillor, and that first year everything's coming at you, that it might be better for continuing this year, next year, and the following year as just a easier time for a future council to review it. But I do think the fact that this hasn't been reviewed since 1994 is maybe not a great practice. I am very supportive of having a fee system that allows us to deliver services to our residents. And I believe that this is exactly the type of service that we want to deliver. So we need to make sure that our fee aligns with our desire to deliver.
Thank you. Any other comments? Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
I would suggest that the concerns I have is that I understand the group. I understand the financial issues that this group has. And I think it should stay status quo. The social part of this and the health of families and people individually, that this group has got a program that works. Financially, they have the program that works. And I think that it would be in error to ask that this not stay status quo. Thank you.
Go ahead, Councilor Booth.
Through you, Your Worship, I'm not arguing. I totally agree with everything you're saying, Deputy Mayor. The program's great and everything like that. And it's not an error to say that all we're asking for is, and I believe Councillor Mary Catherine here stated it well, is that we're going to support this group, but I think it does need to be reviewed every few years to just make sure, so that we don't have, groups coming in and they get carte blanche that it's for the next 50 years. I support the group 100%, and I think if they find out that for this year and next year, that they're set at 26 whatever, then they can plan their meetings and everything, and that's great.
Go ahead. Mike, you haven't had a chance to speak on this yet, go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So we must have a policy that states what's going on here. Maybe we should look into that. Are we setting a precedence for other stuff? So I think we need to follow whatever policy we have. And if the group has to come back every year to look at it or put in for when we have our budget parts or anything, we probably should do that so we don't open another can of worms.
Thank you. I haven't had a chance to speak. I wish I would have asked, and I'm going to ask anyways. How many of your members live in Allen Cullivan Township?
Pardon me?
How many members live in our community?
Because of the anonymity of the members, we have broken our anonymity coming here. Because of the anonymity, we cannot, ask them.
Okay.
No, he's just asking how many,
Live in all the,
like how many live there, like there's maybe 50 within the community, is that what you're asking?
No, I'm asking how many people, and you can't tell us, I can understand.
We can't tell you people, but we can tell you how many.
No, but I'm asking where they live.
Yeah.
how many of our members?
Live in Allen Cullivan Township. And you may not be able to answer that. You said you had 5 to 7 members is what I recall, so.
Right now, when I first came in 2 years ago, there were actually probably 15 members, but people have moved.
Okay,
Again, when you're dealing with, people with chronic illness, you do have people that are transient. Now, there were some who were living within the area that I know, but an exact number right now, maybe 3 of our members are in the area.
okay.
But again, it can change very quickly. I mean,
Thank you. I guess I have one final comment. I agree with Alcohol Anonymous. I agree with all the policies, et cetera, et cetera. And I think it's a great organization and I think we should maintain it, keep it going. However, I almost must say that since if you haven't had a change since 1980, or was it 2004 or something like that?
2004 was the contract that I had.
That's a long time without an increase. That's my only other comment. Okay? We have a motion on the floor, moved by Greg and seconded by Mary Catherine.
I just ask, Councillor Booth, would you be okay if we put it one more year, just so it's not coming at the very beginning when the new councils, because that's a difficult time for a presentation.
Yeah, I'm fine with moving it to.
3 years.
Maybe 3 years, so it'll be the rest of this year, next year, and 2027, right? So that way with the next council, it'll be their second year of council, and this group can come back and make a presentation to the council that day, depending on what's going on in the community and everything.
Yeah. You're gonna accept the friendly amendment?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna call a vote, all in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. The main one? Okay. And the main vote was moved by, I believe, Councilor Deputy Mayor Stover. And you seconded that, seconded by Councilor Booth. Can you read the original motion?
So through Mr. Mayor, the amended motion now reads that the rental fee for the Alderville Pioneer Group at Fenella Hall be approved at $26 per weekly meetings for 2025, 2026, and 2027. And that's been moved and seconded, so you now proceed to call the vote on the amended motion.
Oh, I voted in error then. I supported my motion. I do not support the amendment.
That's what you can say. So through you, Mr. Mayor, so the amended motion was voted, was moved, seconded, debated, and voted, and it was voted to carry, which now amends the original motion, which is the one that I just read. So that is now on the floor for further debate and for final vote.
Anybody else have any further comments?
So we're now voting on the original or the amended?
You're voting on the original motion as amended. So the motion on the floor right now that still remains to be determined is that the rental fee for the Alderville Pioneer Group at Fenella Hall be approved at $26 per weekly meeting for 2025, 2026, and 2027.
All in favor? Opposed?
I'm opposed because I think it should not be removed. I think it should stand. So I'm just putting that out there. Thank you.
We're gonna move on. Thank you very much, ladies. We also have a delegation this morning from a Mr. Rob Green. Mr. Green here. Mr. Green, please come forward. Mr. Green is making a delegation regarding an exemption for development fees.
Yes, that's right.
Good morning. Good morning, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay. I'm a builder, master carpenter, and I've owned this property that's in question for over 20 years. And around 2018, there was a fire in the property. The fire didn't cause the problem. It burned a hole this big in the floor, but the fire department did a great job putting it out, but they also destroyed the inside with the water.
The inside of
The inside of the building
okay.
with water and taking out parts of the wall to make sure there's no further fire. I went and approached the building inspector back then to see what my options would be, whether I should tear the building down or whether
Your voice isn't picked up.
I was
Thank you.
speaking with the building inspector after the fire to see what my options were with the Darrell Hall at the time. And he said that I could tear the building down and build a new house, or I could renovate the existing, which I could have renovated because that's what I do. I then asked him about the development fee, and he said because it's an existing building that there would be no development fee. He made no mention of a timeline or a specific period. I went and looked at the project and I decided maybe I'll tear it down and build a new house. So I went forward with that, got the demolition permit, finished the demolition in, I believe, 2019. And then proceeded to start the development, and then the beginning of COVID happened. And the first thing you have to do when you're developing a property is get a septic permit before you can even apply for a building permit. So I started on that trail, and because it's a small lot and requires a tertiary system, which is complicated and new to the township, tertiary systems are not typical. So I hired a civil engineer. He got close to finishing in 2020 the design because COVID started to slow things down, and then he disappeared. I don't know whether he died or... So I had to start the whole process over again. Hired another engineer, got the septic system finally finalized and through the permit stage in 2023. Around July 2023, I got the approval for the septic system. And at that point in time, just to make sure that I have it in writing, I contacted the township, the planning department, and asked them if there would be, if this is, I want it in writing, is there going to be a development fee? Because at that point in time, I realized it's a small lot and it's an expensive septic system. And I received an email on August 16th, 2023 from Alexander Smith, who's
You shouldn't be mentioning people's names.
pardon?
You shouldn't be mentioning people's names.
Okay, well, I have a copy for everybody that I can hand out.
Okay, you got to give it to the third person.
I will do that. The unnamed person, who's the administrative assistant of the planning department, gave me a letter, which I have here, that said, I've spoken with the CBO, and he confirmed that there would not be any development charges for this property due to the pre-existing dwelling that has been demolished. I based my whole future planning on that. There was no mention of a timeline, no mention of you have so much time to get this building built and get a permit. Now remember, we're in the middle of COVID, so I proceeded with the design, finally got the design, still no mention of timeline until I received the bill for the building permit, which was $23,000. So they charged me the development fee. Then I find out when I call to find out why it's so onerous, I'm told that there's a bylaw that states that you have 5 years within which to build your house from the point of demolition to completion. And I can't go forward with this project. It's just not possible in the budget. And I'm planning to do something very unique with this property. There's a lot of opportunity for young people because that's what we do in our business is we teach young people how to build. We're recycling our log home. And most of the interior is recycled from projects that would be thrown in the dump. And we were really looking forward to teaching and going forward with this project. And I've met nothing but setbacks. And I'm asking for an extension and a forgiveness on this development. And if I didn't have this letter, or if I had the notification, now remember, I believe we've now gone through 3 building inspectors. Not one of them informed me. You had a part-time planner at the time that I started this process that you could reach maybe once a week if you're lucky. Never a mention of this bylaw. And I know that being ignorant of the law does not excuse me, but it would be helpful, maybe if you're not going to give me the forgiveness, maybe at least you could fix the problem and going forward, when somebody comes in and applies, give them a copy of the bylaw so that they're informed. I think that's a duty that the bureaucrat should be informed, that it's helpful for the people like me that don't really understand. And I'm building this is my property, I'm building it myself with my daughter and other younger people that are going to contribute and learn. I don't know everything, but I do know one thing. It's going to be expensive to build. It's unique. Already the tertiary system, which is because of the small size of the lot, is going to cost double what a conventional system would cost. So that's my submission. I've got pictures of a rendering of what we're planning to do. This is the finished version. It's going to be absolutely marvelous. And if I can't get this forgiveness on this development fee, I don't think I'm just going to have to mothball it and go to another project in Allen Township where they may be more cooperative. So that's my case.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Any questions or comments to members of council? Deputy Mayor Stover.
Thank you, Mayor Noble. Mr. Green, what is the fee, the development fee that is in question, the dollar figure?
There's 2 parts to it. I don't quite understand, but I think it's in the neighborhoods of 17,000. Part of it is the larger chunk is the Alnwick Township, which I believe is around 15,000, and I think there's around 2,000 or 2,500 that is the county fee, which I'm in beginning negotiations with the county to see if they can forgive me for that as well.
Paul?
Mayor Noble, what is the bylaw number that you're mentioning here, Mr. Green?
I don't have it in front of me, but I can get that information to you. But the bylaw was sent to me by the building inspector just recently, and I have that on my email chain.
So if you had completed your project by 2024, you wouldn't have needed to have would it be your understanding you wouldn't have needed to have the development fees charged?
That is what I've been told, and I haven't read the whole bylaw, but I'm unclear on whether you have to have the building actually built within 5 years from the point of demolition to completed building. I don't know if that is 5 years or whether it's 5 years from demolition to building permit. I'm unclear of that. I'd have to look further.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Go ahead, Councilor Ainsworth.
Through you, Mayor. So, you know, I look at this as just some things, it's another cleanup that maybe has come from us in the past. And, I mean, I would suggest that we look at Mr. Green's proposal here and maybe, you know, work with him on these development charges and maybe start the clock with all the proper information maybe from today.
Thank you. Councilor Booth.
I agree with what Councillor Ainsworth is saying. I'd like to make a motion at this time, maybe that we can get some clarity because there are a bunch of questions that were raised. A motion that we go to staff and ask for a staff report on this so that staff can report back to us all the facts and things like that, and then we can make a decision at that time.
Thank you, Councilor Booth. No, go ahead.
Through your mayor to council, staff had discussed this with me, and it was at my recommendation that this be brought to council for a decision because of our policies. Respectfully, COVID did offer a fair bit of difficulties for a lot of people, not just our residents, but obviously across the world. So rightfully so, that was for this direction to bring this to council for a decision to waive the fees.
Thank you. Yeah, Greg, you made a motion.
I make a motion that we ask staff to report back to us on this.
Thank you. Can I get a second? Second by Councilor Booth, or pardon me, Councilor Ainsworth. Mayor Catherine, you have a comment.
And it's not directly on that piece of the motion, but it's related to it. I was listening to what you were saying. I opened up our website to see if, in fact, you should have been able to find that information. And it does say, refer to the fees and something bylaw here, or the fees and charges bylaw, but there's no link. And I would suggest that it should be a live link rather than saying to find it. So that piece, which would tie into our staff's report. And on the broader question that you opened up about the future, that is definitely something that the planners are working toward and trying to coordinate, is that there would be better information for builders when they go on there. So that's part of the recommendations that this council supported around the Housing Solutions Task Force work.
Councilor Ainsworth, please go ahead.
Yeah, through you, Mayor. The question I had is just for conversation, what would, Councilor Booth, what would we be asking for information for this report that we don't already have? That's right.
Well, just clarifications. For example, the deputy mayor asked a couple of questions about what is the bylaw, the dates and things like that. And I'm understanding from you, and I agree with the comments that you're making, Mr. Green. I just want a chance for staff to make a report to us with all the facts and figures and everything, and then we can make a decision on what we're going to do.
Okay.
So I'm not denying it in any way or anything, or saying, yes, go ahead. Let's have a report from staff and explain it all, right?
Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Through your Mayor Legault. Is there a timeline, should this 17.5 be forgiven or not move forward? What is your timeline if that was to be the case to start You're not into cement or anything like that, are you?
No, I was hoping, like, the building permit was issued around the middle or end of July.
This year?
Yes. And that's when I found out about the development fee, was like just in July, and I was planning to get started in September. But I can't, that's now off the table, because I can't afford this development fee. Like, just to get the permit is $23,000. And
Oh,
like, there's a legitimate permit fee on top, which is around $3,500. So the total fee, I think, is close to $23,000. Majority of it being the development fee. I'm not obviously complaining about the building permit, that's a fee that I'm glad to pay. So to answer your question, I won't be going forward with this until the spring. So there's plenty of time to get reports and
thank
get to
you.
the bottom of this. But one comment I was gonna make with regards to, like, even if I would get the demolition permit, and if you staple the bylaw to the permit, then I have no, if I don't read the paper, I mean, it's fine and dandy to go on the website, but that's bureaucratic process. It would be so easy to just say, oh, by the way, here's your building, your demolition permit, you've got 5 years to get this going.
I understand, we gotta keep moving along. I'm gonna throw in my 2 cents worth. I tend to agree with, Councilor Dick. We're being asked to make a decision with very little information that's up front. We haven't had a staff report, and that's what we need. So I will be supporting. So we've got a move by yourself and seconded by Councilor Ainsworth, I believe. Any further discussion? All in favor? That motion's carried. Thank you very much, Mr. Green.
This handout, should I give it, like, I didn't get it in.
We can't accept anything unless it comes through the clerk.
So do I go back and this letter that I got, should I include that in the report?
Okay. Yeah, you can just leave it on the end of the desk and we'll pick it up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Okay, that's it with the delegations. Next, we have committee reports. The motion is to receive the committee reports 6266 from the October 21st, 2025 Committee of the Whole meeting agenda for information. Can I get a move in a second? Do you have that information in front of you? That's the library board minutes. I get moved and seconded. So can I get a mover and seconder? If there's anyone you want to pull, then we'll pull it. Mover and seconder, moved by Deputy Mayor Stover, seconded by Councilor Ainsworth. Is there anything you'd like to pull? Councilor Booth.
Yes, your worship, through you, the Parks and Rec one that talks about the Vernonville.
No, we're just doing 6-2 first.
Oh, I thought you were doing them all.
You want to know which ones you want to pull?
Yeah, from 6-2.
So, the whole, I think the whole thing.
Well, they're all different. They're 6-2, 6-2.
Also 6-2.
You're moving?
And, I have a comment.
Okay.
So are we only dealing with 6-2 right now?
We're dealing with 6-2.
Okay.
You like the bullet?
Yes.
Okay. I've been suggested that I change my mind. We're gonna discuss 6.2, 6.3, and 6.4, and if you wanna pull any one of those, you pull them now. Okay, so I got a mover and a second. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover, and seconded. Councilor Ainsworth? Okay, does anyone want to pull any of 6.2, 6.3, or 6.4? Yes,
Pull 6.4, please.
thank you.
6.2.
6.2, thank you. 6. So we've got a mover and a seconder for the Lower Trent Conservation Authority. And the other ones you want to pull, is that correct? Is that all of 6.4? That's all of 6.4. All in favor of 6.2?
6.2, I would like to pull. Just let me know when I can pull it.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, so we're currently looking at the concept of consent agenda, where we're going to do a mass approval of anything here that is just for information. So the particular recommendations of the Parks and Rec Advisory Committee, you can pull those recommendations one by one. If there's anything for general discussion at this point in relation to 6.2, 6.3, 6.4, 6.5, or 6, this is the time that you're receiving it for information to just discuss generically. If there's anything that you want to have further discussion and debate because you either agree or disagree as to whether or not it gets supported by council, that is when you would pull it out for further discussion and you would handle it as a separate motion and a separate matter. So right now, the motion that was approved on the floor was that agenda item 6.2 to 6.6 on the agenda be received for information. You can receive them all for information, but if you're looking to do further debate, then at that point you would bring forward separate information. Madam Deputy, is there anything you'd like to weigh in on that? Okay, are we clear as mud?
Clear as mud.
Can I offer an alternative here to help things move along?
Yep.
If we get a withdrawal for the motion on the floor that agenda item 6.2 to 6.6 be received for information, if that gets withdrawn, then just go item by item and just deal with them as they're on the agenda. Let's eliminate the button.
Okay.
Put that in consideration.
I would withdraw if that's what would expedite this process.
Thank you.
Withdraw, Mike, you okay withdrawing that? Yeah. Okay. Now we'll start all over again. 6.2 is for the Alvin Cullinan Library Board. Any questions on those? Yes, ma'am.
Through your Mayor Lobo, it would be very helpful if when the library board goes into closed, that they would state, right now, they state, as they usually do, that the board meeting move into closed session on September 15th, I just give that date, at 8:34 under section 16.1, brackets, a number sign. I don't know what that means. It is not in the act anywhere. And then they list four things that they're doing. So it would be very helpful if they could list the numbers that they're going into under closed. The other thing I'd like to draw your attention to is that these minutes are not signed. I do not know where that leaves us bringing unsigned minutes for us to receive for information.
But clerk, do you have a comment on either one of those?
I do not. I would refer the matter to your library board representative to take back to the board for consideration.
Sure, I'll take it back to them. Thank you.
So I don't know where that leaves us with receiving unsigned minutes. If that is something that we can do, maybe that's something we can do. Is that something, Madam Clerk? that would be available to us.
I thought that's what I was asking. Madam Clerk, do you have a comment on the procedures that were being followed? Are we following them or not?
I don't have a comment on another organization in the board's matter of procedure. They are separate from ours. So again, the conversations about how they do their minutes needs to be directed to the board, and the comments there, for how they do their minutes and such. This is not for the township clerk to be weighing in on at this point in time.
So where did they get your answers? Should they get it from the,
Well, I'd suggest that if the town wants to, send an email to the chairman of the board, which is Marcia. Instead of waiting for me to bring it up at the next meeting.
Mayor Lowell, if I may, I know I can see that, they have been taking direction that they are improving, but procedurally, these are unsigned minutes. So that was the main question, and, as well, the close. So it could be a question, an email off to, the CEO, who is, the person that's doing, the job there.
and who should do that?
Madam Clerk, could you do that to the CEO?
Through Mr. Mayor, yes, I can reach out and request the signed copies be sent to us going forward.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments on this? Go ahead, Councilman.
Through you, Mayor. With the minutes, it talks about, the delegation that comes to the Parks and Rec. She hasn't been there for, the last, 3 or 4 times. I'm not sure if we can find out if she's resigned or has there been any coming that way.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, have you had any indication there's someone resigning from the Parks and Rec?
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I did miss a comment there from Councilor Ainsworth. I was focusing on getting the directions going there. If I could just get you to repeat.
So the library board has a delegation that comes to our Parks and Rec meeting, and she hasn't been showing up. So if she's resigned, we should know that, or if we're going to replace her, we should know that.
So through Mr. Mayor, I did receive notice that the individual was stepping back, and that she would be taking it to the next Parks and Rec Advisory Committee, the next library board meeting to see if there'd be somebody else that'd be stepping in their place. So that's where that last one is at this point in time.
Thank you. I have one question regarding this as well, and it was regarding a request by one of the directors for a report regarding the service and possible recognition. And they were supposed to talk with staff, our staff, I guess, about that. So we have records of what their staff is, their service levels. Or do they have that? I guess, I don't know why they wouldn't handle that themselves.
I think they are. What meeting was it that it was mentioned?
June 16th, Service Recognition Awards. There was a request by, go ahead.
I'll just remind you, Mayor Local, that the library does pay for human resource support from our township, so I would suspect it's more the exact dates of hiring, those types of things, but they have and continue to receive their human resources through us, and they do pay the township for that service.
So we should give them that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
We can follow up and make sure that that's done.
Through you,
Your worship, I can clarify something there too. I think what they were asking the township is that does the township award their employees like a 5-year award or a 10-year award or a 15-year award? Because at that time, the library was discussing trying to do the same as what the township was doing. So I agree with what Mary Catherine was saying. They wanted to make sure that if the town knew the exact dates that some of their employees were hired so that they could make sure whatever the township is doing, if they're giving out 5-year awards or whatever, they're doing the same.
Thank you. So we'll follow up, make sure that's done. Any other questions or comments regarding the library minutes? All in favor? That motion's carried. Next one is Lower Trent Conservation Authority minutes for September 11, 2025. So I get a movement second. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover, second by Councilor Ainsworth. Any questions or comments? I have one question regarding, one member of the director made the comment that a 12% increase in the Lower Trent Conservation budget does not increase the municipal levy by 12%. You understand what he's saying there?
Yeah, Eric, if I can clarify, so the conversation was that, a 12% increase for us would be, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars compared to a 12% for the municipality for Lower Trent might only be $15,000. I think that's what they're clarifying there.
Okay.
So for instance, the last one that came back was 8.4 for the township, but it's like $14,000 compared to an 8.4 for the municipality.
Okay. So it's not 12% Lower Trent doesn't mean I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Probably with the Lower Trent, it probably should just be $1, not a percent.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions or comments? All in favor? Motion's carried. I'm going to go 6-4, which is the Parks, Rec, and Cultural Advisory Committee minutes. And if you want to pull, there are 6 recommendations there. If you want to pull any one of them, please let us know. Otherwise, it'll all be approved. So, yes, go ahead, Mike.
To you, Mayor. So recommendation 1, I would like to.
Would you like to pull?
Pardon me?
You'd like to pull that one?
Well, I'd like to pull it for debate, but
Okay.
I'd also like to pull it, my opinion is to just deny.
Okay. I want to go through all of them.
Yeah.
So does anybody else have any ones they want to pull? Yes, go ahead, Councilor Booth.
Well, before we even get to that, I'd like to talk about the minutes, right, before we get to the recommendations. We've been addressing the minutes for the library and the Lower Trent. We should be addressing the minutes first and then go to the recommendations, because there's a question about the minutes that I have.
Okay.
I do too.
Okay. Go ahead.
Through you, your worship, reading through the minutes, on July 18th, 2025, Councilor Ainsworth and I guess Lori Davini did an inspection of Vernonville. And it's recorded in there, a concern I see is that it talks about there's 2 fire extinguishers in the building. One of them's not been signed off at all, and the other one's been signed off for the whole year of 2025. So I have a concern, and I'm not sure, Dave, whether you can answer or whether it's Jeremy or somebody who's signing off on the fire extinguishers then.
Good question.
Because my understanding as a facility manager, they're signed off every month. You can't sign them off for the whole year, and it shouldn't be, any of the cards shouldn't be there that have no sign off. So I'm not sure, Mike, can you clarify, was the one that had no signatures, was there any signatures on it at all?
Are you involved in an inspection, Mike?
Yeah, through you, Mayor. I honestly can't remember if I've seen a signature or not. But I do remember them being signed off. So Councilor Booth is right. We looked at it. So I'm not sure if it's a company or it's
Okay. So just so I understand, you're saying there's on one, the ticket has 12 months on it, you have to check each one every month?
Yeah.
Is that a right understanding? Okay. All right. Let's,
Maybe we can get somebody can report back to us, is it a company that's doing it, or is it our staff that are doing it?
That's a reasonable request, unless you leave it on, you probably don't, because you don't have a word of it.
No, I'm just confused. So, approval of minutes is for errors or omissions, corrections. If there's an operations question, I'm not sure why we wouldn't just address that to the CAO, as opposed to debate it at council. I'm more than happy to take care of this, absolutely. It's the first I've heard of it.
You got it?
I do have both an error and an omission in the minutes. So I did arrive late for the meeting, but I did arrive at the end of the discussion in 6. So that discussion, I was there for the last 3 or 4, maybe 5 minutes of that discussion. And the omission is on our agenda, and I apologize because I just noticed it myself right now because I did want to talk about the Christmas event. And that is the recommendation in section 8 of the minutes, and that recommendation didn't carry forward to be discussed today. So if we could still discuss the Roseneath Christmas event from the minutes there, it is a recommendation. In
Okay.
section 8.1,
Let's deal with one Greg brought up first. Let's have staff take a look at that, find out a little bit more of the detail, and that we should not be involved. It should be just handled.
I don't believe council needs to take an action. Our CAO rightly pointed out that that's an operations thing that he's aware of. No action is needed from us.
No. I agree, that's what I'm saying. You agree, Greg?
Yep,
Okay.
just a comment to mention it, and I'm sure the CAO will look after it.
Anyone? No. Mary Catherine, my understanding is you're concerned about the fair not being on the, or the Roseneath.
Sorry, 2 items. The first is the minutes have me arriving during the discussion in section 8, but I did indeed arrive for the tail end of the discussion in section 6. So the business arising, I was there for the end of that conversation.
Thank you.
And then the other is that today we discuss the recommendation in section 8 of the minutes.
And it's not in one of the recommendations.
No, I didn't realize that till this moment.
We can add it. Anyone else want to pull anything else? Here, go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Through you, Mayor Vogel, I, as well as Councillor Ainsworth, would like recommendation 1. I was a little bit, I don't know where this is coming from. This is a committee of council. There's terms of reference, how the committees are to run. Staff are there, it's all set up. So this recommendation to exclude municipal staff from the composition of the committees, am I discussing this in the wrong spot?
Well, we're trying to go through, to go and see if you want to pull recommendations.
Yes, all right, good, I'm done with the minutes.
Does anybody want to pull any of the 7 items, 6 items? Just recommendations. Yes. Your document, address your issue.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, just to back up a little bit here so we can keep things on track and on order. In terms of the discussion of the minutes that were had, the recommendation in regards to the Roseneath Christmas event, that was not a recommendation for council, that was a recommendation from the committee to the subcommittee that was planning that event, that it be held at the Roseneath Fairground. So that's the reason why this recommendation did not come forward, is because it didn't require council action. So that was already approved at the council level, or sorry, at the committee level through that work work plan. So that was just direction to the subcommittee to pursue that Rosemead Fairground as a location. So that's why that one didn't come forward.
Makes sense.
Just for clarity.
Thank you. So, Deputy Mayor, you want to pull recommendation 1? Is there any other recommendations you want to pull? Okay. Before we do that, we've had comments on minutes. Can I get a mover and seconder to approve the minutes? Moved by Councillor Booth, seconded by Councillor O'Neill. Any further comments?
Are we receiving it with, the error corrected? Is that perfect? Thank you.
All in favor? That's carried. Now, recommendation 1 is held. Does anybody want to hold any of the other? Okay. Item 2, does anybody want to hold? I want to get to this,
Well, I don't want one, so.
yeah, does anybody want to do anything with number 2? Councilor Booth.
Well, I'd like discussion on all of them, please.
Okay.
Their recommendations, so I would agree we just do it let's just go one by one, and if there's no discussion on it, then we can.
So we're not receiving anything, but we will open them up for discussion, everyone. Okay? Recommendation 1. You've got it in front of you? And it's up on the board. Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Well, I've already spoken.
Before we do that, we're gonna get a mover and seconder.
Do we need a mover and a seconder for that?
If we're gonna discuss it, we're gonna
Okay,
have a
all right.
mover and seconder. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stoller, seconded by Councilor Raymond. Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. I already gave my thoughts on it. This is a committee of council. The terms of reference include municipal staff for the composition, so I'm not in favor of this.
Thank you. Any other comments? Councilor Booth.
I'm just wondering, for clarification, if we could have the 2 members that sit on the committee, why this recommendation is here. And I guess my question also to you, Mr. Mayor, is what is the municipal staff composition of the committee?
It's in the terms of reference.
That's why I'm asking. Is it the manager of Parks and Rec is supposed to be there and then the clerks are there just as assistants, or?
I think it's just one of the clerks.
Okay, because I believe on one of the minutes I read.
Unless they're training or something like that.
Okay, so it should be one clerk, obviously doing the minutes, and then it would be Jeremy then, right? Or, sorry, no names, the manager of Parks and Rec.
Yep.
Okay, so maybe the 2 members that sit on the committee can tell us what was discussed, why this recommendation came forward.
Go ahead, Mary Donovan.
Because we weren't there, so.
So as I noted, I came in at the end of the discussion, and my takeaway from the last little bit wasn't exactly what is sitting here. I believe it was around voting rights for who is a voting member of the committee and who's not, and they wanted that piece of the terms of reference looked at again. And then the other piece that we did discuss is there were recommendations made, and I'm going to give the example of picnic tables for Sandy Bay. That was something that probably didn't need to come to council as a recommendation. It was an operational thing. But our staff member wasn't. What's the process? And something being passed in July and not coming before council until our last committee of the whole. So it was a logistics thing about what's the role of our council member. I'm uncomfortable as well with how this recommendation is worded that's sitting in front of us. But I do think if we took it and brought back our terms of reference and looked at it again, especially since we've had several resignations in the last little while from that committee again. So what are we going to do with that committee? And what is the role of staff within the committee, I think are things that would be worthwhile. By bringing the terms of reference back.
So, with this recommendation, Mayor, so my opinion is that some of these committees used to be just left to go and do whatever they want to, and never really answered the staff, answered the council. Some of them are doing their own stuff, and things have changed now. We have that terms of reference so that can guide the committees on where we can go with things, what we can do, and what the committee is capable of doing and what they should do. Now, staff is there to make sure we follow the rule instead of breaking the rule and then having to, come back another day and apologize for it. So this recommendation here was basically, for my opinion, is that we have a set of rules now that we have to follow. And some people don't like it. So that's where it was there. So without getting into the content of the argument that night, I think that should be left out of this. But it's, to me, basically, it's just that we have a new set of rules and people don't like it. So to me, our terms of reference is fine. Staff being on the committee is fine, and their role in the committee is fine. It's that some people don't like it. So, to me, this whole recommendation should be denied.
Thank you. I've got to ask a question. Are members of staff voting with members?
No.
Okay. And that's what what you said as well. Terms of reference, okay. So they're not voting members?
No. They're there to guide us, they make our agendas, they take minutes, we ask them legal questions, they're there for our help.
Okay. And they're there for, with the manager of Parks and Recs, they're there to answer, easier to answer questions as well?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sorry, I think that if the manager of Parks and Recreation isn't able to attend the meeting, I think it would be a good policy to send someone else from the Recreation Department to the meeting.
Thank you. They have to be appointed, not.
There's anybody else, I think.
They have to be appointed to the committee.
No. We've had, meetings where the manager isn't there, and so this becomes a communications piece. So the role of the clerk is to take the minutes, which is fine, that's great, and we get them coming back to us. But in terms of that relationship, but in fairness, I'm not really comfortable with how this is worded here in front of us, but I do think we should all be aware of the fact that that committee, there is frustration within the current members, and we are once again seeing volunteers step down off the committee, and that is something that all of us need to think about. What is our relationship to our volunteers?
Thank you. Councilor Booth.
Through your worship, so just clarification, so is the staff member that's assigned to this, they are an actual member of the committee, right? So in minutes.
They are committee members, but they're not voting members.
Right, so in minutes, should they be also listed in there if they're absent or not? Because I'm looking at the September 8th and I don't see any staff other than the clerks. So I agree with what Mary Catherine's saying is if you're having the members show up and the staff member that's supposed to be there is not there, then there's nobody representing staff.
Through you, Mayor, my only comment to council is that with respect to this committee or other committees under what we've gone through with respect to change, the staff that are there are not necessarily committee members. They're there representing the municipality. The clerk is there to ensure that appropriate minutes and proper procedures are followed. And then the other staff representative from from the department, if they're able to attend, who is the manager, would be the rightful one to sit there to be able to answer questions and help provide guidance and any context to what might be happening. But it's actually the committee that does the work, and obviously makes the decisions and recommendations to council. So I think if we look at it in a very clear, or under a clear microscope, it's defined in that way. So your staff do not vote. They're there for specific reasons of governance and ordinance within the municipality, which is something that we obviously have suffered from for many years. So I fully understand and respect that many people have different opinions on that. But when it comes to the municipal act and its requirements and our due diligence as staff members, we are absolutely moving forward in that direction.
So I guess back to my question then, is the manager of Parks and Recreation part of that committee? And should they be marked as either present or absent then?
So through you, Mr. Mayor, so Councillor Booth, thank you for bringing that to our attention. I've just looked into it, and the terms of reference is yes, staff are members of this committee. I've just looked into it, and there's a coding error in that we have members present in the agenda in a minute software. The committee members are present, but staff are deemed as staff absent, and that was a missing piece of code, so I've since corrected that. So yes, the manager is a member of the committee, and the minutes will be corrected to reflect that he is absent from the meeting.
Okay, thank you. And then I agree with what the CAOD is saying then, is that if that staff member is there to answer questions and this or that, if that staff member doesn't show up, then the committee's still going to continue on and do whatever the recommendations are and anything, and there wouldn't be anybody there at that meeting to answer any questions, that's all.
Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Just so I'm clear, we do have staff there. We have a clerk, we have a deputy clerk that's in waiting. And they, a lot of times, can be the caveat to get things moving on and at least receive some of the information. So it's not like if the manager of rec wasn't there, we still had staff there. So it could be moved through those. So I think we're just getting way too deep into the weeds here. Thank you.
I think that it would be good if we had a bit more clarity around the operations things that come up. And an example that we already discussed at this meeting was about the fire extinguisher. So members of the committee had noticed an operational thing, and there wasn't a mechanism for that operational thing to go, like, that's not the job of the person who's there from the clerk's department to ensure that any operational items, such as the fire extinguishers, such as picnic tables needing to be put in a given park. These are eyes and ears within the community bringing forward some of their observations on a facility. And anyway, how does that information get through? And perhaps, anyway, I'll just leave it there. I think there are some operational things that come up, and we don't have a mechanism. It's fine if we want to make if the committee wants to make a recommendation about funding opportunities or whatever, that's fine. But what happens with these operational pieces?
Well, I would think, and unfortunately the operations person wasn't there to record that, but if he was there, I'm sure that he would take that on. And I can, if the clerk's there and wants to make a record of it in the minutes, that should be fine too, otherwise we ain't gonna get it resolved. I think I tend to agree with Deputy Mayor, we're going around in circles and we all want the same thing. Go ahead, Councillor Booth.
Through your worship, respectfully disagree with you. It's not part of the clerk's job at a meeting to be presenting stuff and things like that. The clerk is there, it specifically talks about, and Mary Catherine.
I'm going to excuse myself. I did not say that. or if I did, I didn't mean to say that. The clerk is there recording information. That's what my point was.
Yeah.
And if the public work manager isn't there, somebody has to keep a record of that, because how else will we get it fixed?
No, and I agree with you 100%, but the clerk's not there to then present things from Parks and Rec or the Public Works.
No, I don't think so. People can ask questions, and if they ask a question, I don't have a problem with the clerk giving her an answer and saying that, you know, I can answer the question or I can't answer it.
Thank you, that's what I meant, thank you.
Which, excuse me, so if we go to the minutes and we go to 8.6, it talks about summer updates, manager of Parks and Recs. Emily provided a verbal update for the manager of Parks and Recreation, which included the following. That's not proper. As part of the terms of reference, when you read it, and it talks about what the clerk's job is in that, it's not, if staff isn't there to present stuff, then it should not be the clerk's job to be presenting a whole list of things of what's been done. That's the manager's job.
Mayor Longo,
Yes.
this needs to stop. This is what happened at the meeting. The clerk, for whatever reason, the manager wasn't there. Madam Clerk stepped in and provided information that she had. That's it. I'm, like, what are we doing here? We're just browbeating this thing to death. And I'll leave it up to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I figured that if the clerk has more information for the group there, that she should distribute that. Very confident.
Sorry, I will pick up. I would like to have that report in writing coming to a committee. I think that's the proper way to, you know, if the manager isn't able to be there, to send it in writing, makes a lot of sense to me. But I do think this isn't about attacking anyone about anything. It's trying to find a solution about what happens with some of these operational pieces that come up at some of these meetings. And we cannot be fighting with one another. We need to be calmly deciding.
Totally agree.
We need to be calmly deciding how we can improve what's already happening. This isn't an attack. This is a search to find a way to make things run better.
I agree. Let's move on.
Thank you.
Mike,
Mayor, one final comment. Can we change the term of reference to add our clerk as, you know, a second voice if the Parks and Rec manager is not there? I mean, we're just splitting teams here. I mean, it's like, if we have to put it in writing to please somebody, let's just put it in writing.
I don't think it's necessary. If somebody has to ask the question of staff and the clerk's the only person there, she'll give the best answer that he or she will give the best answer that they can.
And we're here today because some committee members don't like that answer.
Well,
Right? So that's what I'm saying, like, it's just,
yeah.
so
We've got an MOU, and that's what we're gonna follow.
yeah.
For terms of reference, pardon me. Is that, yes. All in favor of after discussion on recommendation one? In favor?
No, I'm not,
Yes.
I'm not in favor.
Okay.
Through Mr. Mayor, the recommendation on the floor that was moved by Mayor Stover, seconded by Councilor Ainsworth, is that it is recommended that council direct staff to amend the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee terms of reference to exclude municipal staff from the composition of the committee.
I'm not in favor.
So you moved?
I move for discussion, I'm not in favor of
Okay.
exclusion. Thank you.
Oh.
This is, what's in line with this one?
So again, through Mr. Mayor, the recommendation on the floor that was moved by Deputy Mayor Stover and seconded by Councilor Ainsworth is it is recommended that council direct staff to amend the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee terms of reference to exclude municipal staff from the composition of the committee.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Recommendation 2 is recommended that the council direct staff to investigate energy upgrades and improvements for Vernonville Community Center. I get mover in a second. Moved by Councilor O'Neill, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stover. Any discussion?
It was my hand.
That was one hand. Your hand. Okay, any further discussion? Go ahead, Councilor Booth.
Through your worship, I'm hoping that when staff is investigating this, that they'll not just look at the Vernonville one, but they'll also look at this building that they're talking about, because I'm sure when you're looking at energy upgrades and things like heat pumps and that if you bundle them all together, you can get grants for things like that.
Thank you. Any other comments? Go ahead.
I fully support what Councillor Booth just said, and to provide a little bit of clarity, the committee has picked a different facility to look at each meeting. So it's specific to Vernonville because we were looking at Vernonville that night, but I concur that that is something that would be wise at all of our facilities. So perhaps that needs to be amended slightly to just say at our community centers instead of Vernonville Community Center. Can I make that amendment to the recommendation?
But would that have to be changed through the minutes? So this is coming out of the minutes.
So through you, Mr. Mayor, the recommendation coming out of the minutes is just that, a recommendation. So council at this point, having moved and seconded it, does have the ability to make amendments through the motion. Perfect.
So I'd like to make that amendment then, that it, instead of it reading Vernonville Community Center, that it would read all community centers.
Thank you. Comments? Maybe we do that, Councilor Angel?
Well, I do agree with the intent of it. There are some smaller things that could be fixed in this facility, like right away, compared to maybe some of the major ones. You know, for instance, I think that this one here was like remove trees away from the building, clean up the playground, fix the windows, that kind of stuff. Nothing that's real major. But I do agree we need assessment for all our community centers, and I believe that we directed staff already to do that, maybe back some meetings ago. That's probably going to come up on assessment. I do believe they all need to have that work done.
Okay, thank you. Further comments? My only comment was, I think, we've got to do that for all of our equipment, and I think that's a part of our facilities, and I think that's what basically you're saying. I would hate to see, you know, I will have to look at each one of them too, because we can't do them all. And maybe we may decide to do something different than exactly what we recommended, but it certainly doesn't hurt to take a look at all of them. Go ahead, Councilor.
I think that through you, Mayor, so could we do that in a separate motion, or can we go back and look at our minutes? Because I believe we just asked staff to do this before. If that's possible.
Yes, it can be possible.
Yeah.
So if you want to,
I mean, these recommendations here, like say that some of them are fairly minor. We could get on with them before we tie them up into more assessment.
go ahead, Councilor.
You're addressing exactly the difficulty with our current structure is because these other things that you're referencing, why are these other small operational things, how do we make them move forward? Which is your question. These are operational things. How do we make these operational observations that have been brought to us by a subcommittee that had taken some time and energy and effort to go through it on a quite a in-depth level and bringing that forward? Okay, so now this is operational. This tree needs trimmed, or this bush needs whatever. You know, these are, how did they move forward? So that's taking us back to the discussion we just had. And I believe our conclusion was, if it's operational, staff is going to be responding to the operational things that come forward. And I think it's not an appropriate motion then.
It's not an appropriate motion.
That we wouldn't need a specific motion for it is probably a better way to do it.
So there's a motion on the floor, and you're saying you want to amend that now.
No, we have an amended motion. Mike was saying, do we need a second motion? And I'm like, no, we don't need a second motion because those are operational items.
And I agree with you, we shouldn't be digging in the weeds, we're pretty well into the weeds. We want to do all that type of stuff, correct?
Yeah,
So if there's anything more, is getting in the weeds.
yes, the assessment of all the other community centers should be done somewhere else.
That's my opinion. So what is the motion?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we have a motion to amend right now to strike from the main motion. I'm going to start with the motion that was originally on the floor, which was, it is recommended that council direct staff to investigate energy upgrades and improvements for the Vernonville Community Center. There's now a motion on the floor to strike Vernonville and replace that with all community centers. That was moved by Councillor O'Neill and seconded by Councillor Ainsworth.
Thank you. I know what I would do. I would say approve the one, the original one, and then ask for another motion to look at the other buildings.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
Sorry. I don't like when motions are coming forward from the floor because they tend to sometimes get confused.
Yeah.
I think we should vote on the motion that is in front of us right now, as it is written right now with the amendment. So first we need to vote on the amendment that is on the floor. So I'd like to call a vote on that one.
All in favor
This recommendation.
of the amended motion?
Okay, we amended to.
Amended, yes.
That we look at the energy, potential energy upgrades at all facilities, not just Vernonville. That's what's in front of us right now, Councillor Ainsworth.
And then we're coming back to the original one,
Yeah.
correct?
So through Mr. Mayor, right now, the motion on the floor to be dealt with by council is to amend the original motion to remove Vernonville and replace Vernonville with all community centers. So at this point, you're debating whether or not to change the motion to be from Vernonville or more all-encompassing for all communities.
And the original motion, there was never an original motion.
We're not getting to that.
It's
So-
coming?
So the original motion is that council directs staff to investigate energy upgrades and improvements for the Vernonville Community Center. That is the original motion. There's currently a motion to amend that motion to remove Vernonville and to include all community centers instead. That is what you are currently voting on, is whether or not to change it to be from Vernonville to all community centers.
All in favor?
To all community centers.
Of all community centers. All in favor? Opposed? The motion is defeated. What is the other motion?
So your motion to amend fails, which means your original motion, which was originally moved by Councillor O'Neill and seconded by Councillor Ainsworth, that needs to be dealt with by council now. It is recommended that council direct staff to investigate energy upgrades and improvements for the Vernonville Community Center.
All in favor? That is carried unanimously.
There. We can invite her.
Yep, we'll be back, take a break, we'll be back at 11:20. Okay, we're back from a quick recess. Next we have recommendation 3. You've got it in front of you. Does anybody have any questions, any comments regarding this? Move in second first, I guess. Moved by Councilor O'Neill, second by Councilor Ainsworth. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion's carried. Recommendation number 4. You got it in front of you. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councilor Booth, seconded by Councilor Ainsworth. Any discussion? Yes, go ahead, Mike.
Through you, Mayor, this question has come up a few times. Can we pull the old minutes to that money that was supposed to go towards the sanctuary and actually put this to bed?
Yes,
So it would have been back in.
they're asking for the current status, right?
Yes, it would have been back in 23. When we sold the property down south of Grafton.
Yes.
And I can't recall whether it was all the money or just part of the money that was going, so if we could pull those minutes from the sale of the property and put this to bed, that would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Who moved it? Are you willing to amend?
I understand what you're saying. I'm guessing that that's what it is to just say how much money's in there, right? So if you tell them the current status of what's in there, then that's the answer, right? I don't think you have to dig back into whatever, the treasurer's deposited the money and whatever's sitting in there, that's what it is, that's it.
Thank you. Go ahead, Councilor Ainsworth.
Through you, Mayor, but there was a recommendation from the sale of the property of where that money would go. So we should at least just, revisit that.
Well, we're not gonna revisit it. I mean, that was a decision.
Yeah.
Huh?
Because Mayor, some people are saying it's the full amount, some people have said it's only 20,000.
Are you okay for me to check it?
Yeah, and I agree with what Mike's saying, so let's say it's, through your worship, let's say it's $50,000, and then the treasurer can say, according to the motion that was made, that 25% goes in there, that's why it's this amount, that's it, end of story.
Thank you. All in favor? That's carried. Recommendation number 5. Remover and seconder. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover. Second by Councilor O'Neill. Any discussion? Go ahead, Councilor Ainsworth.
I guess through you, Mayor, the discussion would be who's gonna look after that other part.
Yeah, the green thumb's trying to look after it. I would suggest we let them continue to look after it. And I guess the only one that I was wondering about perhaps was the project. Senate. Do we look after that, Cal?
The township hall,
Senate.
oh, Legion.
Yeah, the Legion was looked after. So it should be probably included on this shit. Do you have a comment on that, Parks Manager?
The Legion doesn't look after that,
The Legion looks after? Go ahead.
The only other one I was, there's been a little bit of discussion about the parkette in Rosemead. The Green Thumbs, two people from the Green Thumbs went to the parkette and looked at the area, and it's gonna need some work. So is that one of the items, one of the park's locations, is that in there? Thank you. It's already there.
Already moved after.
Thank you.
Okay? So we're gonna add the draft of Legion or Cenotaph and everything else is okay, all bigger? That's carried. Recommendation number 6. Moved and seconded, moved by Councillor Booth, seconded by Councillor Ainsworth. I have one question, I'm not sure what they're planning on, are they planning on replacing what we already have? Is there a design coming in, or is that been discussed? Go ahead, Mike.
My comment was, I've had two people now come to me to say that the signs that are out here that our previous parks manager installed years ago, it's the white part of the sign, the green part and the thing is all fine. The white part is faded so much that you can't even read them. So that's what.
So they're asking for replacements?
Of the actual sign, not the whole unit.
Okay. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, through you, Mayor, also, some of them have board employees and CEO and even clerk's names on them that all need to be changed and proper going up and stuff like that. So that's good.
Okay, so we don't know what's on them, we don't know when we're gonna replace them, is that what you're saying?
No, I believe we're gonna replace them with what we had, just with proper updated information on them.
In the 2026 budget.
In the 2026 budget. All in favor? Okay, that's carried. Northumberland Police Service, 4 minutes. Meeting seconded. Moved by Councillor Ainsworth, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stover. Any discussion? Go ahead, Mike.
Through you, Mayor, I wonder if we could ask a question, when you're in the meeting with the OPP about the accidents that we're having on the 401 when it comes to 18-wheeler. It's not in your report, and it would be sure nice to know that, with the future plans for all the stuff that's going on.
We had a special meeting, at our last meeting, which was last Friday, and in attendance was the MPP, and there will be some more direction coming from, in the answer for the publisher.
Yeah, it would be nice to, keep the public informed on that, because this is a big problem, especially when, you know, how many fire trucks have we had hit during the last year and a half, 3 or 4?
I know we had one.
Yeah.
AH's had one, Clarington's had one, and I believe there was another one as well. And that's the issue. We're using, $1 or $1.2 million fire trucks as a safety blocker. And they're worth much more than that. We should use something more designed for it. Anyways, it's coming.
Mayor, if I can make a suggestion for your next meeting, the Premier of Alberta, Danielle Smith is implicating, it's like if you're going to be a contractor or like an electrician or a plumber, you go through to get a ticket. And I think it's a great idea, maybe something that our province should be looking into, if you could bring it up here at the OPP meeting, so they would have to actually go through, everybody that drives an 18-wheeler would have to go through a certification program.
Okay.
That way,
We'll bring it up.
right, so maybe if you could bring that up and maybe have them look into that would be something that we might be able to do with our province center too.
They would probably recommend it to the province.
Yeah.
But I'll bring it up there. We can do that here too if you want. I will take that. And then next, all in favor? The next one is the Northumberland OPP Joint Police Services Board July, August Board Report. That's for township. Mover to seconder. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover, second by Councilor Ainsworth. Any discussion? All in favor? That's carried. We have a building department report. And, Dawn, you want to bring it up, please? I think it's pretty clear, but does anybody have, well, we can, thanks for coming down.
Thank you.
Is there an update to any of your information that you supplied?
Good morning to the mayor, to members of council. No, the information is supplied in this report is pretty straightforward. There's been no significant update to that. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you. Any questions? Go ahead.
So not so much a question, but at, maybe once a year, if you could break down the other permits that aren't for houses, and in particular, one that I've been hearing a little bit about is the accessibility permits and people asking about that. So I'm just trying to understand how many of them are coming in for the ramps and stuff.
Okay. If I may, through mayor and members of council, I'm not aware of any accessibility permits that have come in. Building permits that come out, everyone that crosses my desk, obviously.
Right.
I just want to make sure we're not confusing the AODA requirements with the building code requirements. So if someone comes in and make an application for a ramp serving either a commercial building or even serving your single family dwelling or a house, they will require a building permit. And those requirements are checked for compliance with the building code for things like ramps, stairs, access. But I have not in 2025 received any applications for any ramps as you mentioned.
Okay, thank you. And it was coming from two directions, people putting them in their own and talking about their own experience, and this was in previous years, but also in service providers and ramps that are maybe a little steep for providing service to some of their, but I'll come to you and we can talk about that individually, but I did want to flag that it is out there in the community as a question that's circulating. So if they're coming to me, I think there's other people who want to know too.
They're more than welcome to call into they're more than welcome to call into the building department, and we can provide them direction how to make those applications and what's required.
Thank you.
Any other questions for John regarding the report? All in favor? That's carried. Oh, I didn't move a second. Thank you, John. You're done. Move a second to accept his report?
We just did that.
No, we didn't.
Oh, we voted before we moved in.
Moved by Councilor Booth, seconded by Councilor O'Neill. All in favor? That's carried. The next one is the fire department activity report. Okay, does anybody have any questions? I would ask that, I think the report's great. It would be nice to compare where we are year to date versus last year. And that type of stuff. And the quarter. That's all I have. Okay, move second. Moved by Councilor O'Neill, seconded by Councilor Ainsworth. Any discussion?
Just a note that once again, the medical calls is up there and it is something, but it looks, and I may be wrong, but it looks lower than previous years to your point of comparison. Quite a lot of vehicle fires on the other hand.
With a lot of
vehicle fires.
vehicle responses, not necessarily fires.
Okay, well, it reads vehicle fires MVC, but again, and this is to Councillor Ainsworth's point, that this responding to motor vehicle collisions is something expensive.
All in favor? Motion's carried. Next, we move on to reconciliation, relocation of the Centerton Community Center funds. Jeremy, if you want to come forward, please. Does anybody in the council have any questions? Councilor Anderson.
To you, Mayor, I just wonder about the extra money we have. You know, can we also, like, you know, add the foyer out here in the bathroom and stuff and in part of that, instead of taking all that money for the air conditioning unit, is there some that we can, you know, fix up the foyer where all water damage?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, staff will be fixing that up. The facility caretaker has been assigned that project as part of his work. And that will just go under the building grounds and maintenance line.
All right, thank you.
Any other comments? Go ahead, Councilor Booth.
Through your worship, same concern that Mr. Ainsworth has there, the councillor, is that when you come in here and you see that in the bathroom and in the hallway, it's really bad, that needs to be fixed up. But I guess my other concern would be is going back to the discussion we had with Vernonville, is that I would prefer to see that the money be returned back to the budget, and then this is a budget item for next year to talk about whether we're putting a heat pump here, and maybe they could do that at Vernonville too, and we could bundle them together to see if we could get a grant, because I know there are lots of government grants out there when it comes to home energy things and things like that.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Sorry, I have some questions,
Yes.
if that's the stage we're still at.
We're still in questions.
Okay, so, when they went up to look at the roof and they said that the leaks had been repaired, which I have heard multiple times since 2012, and they always do fix that leak. But has the problem been fixed? And the problem is that water gets in there when there's sideways rain or when it's the snow and it's the spring melt. And it has nowhere to get out of. We're talking about the tower here, right? So the water gets in there and it has no way to get out. And the water eventually finds some little crack, and we've had it come in at least half a dozen different locations in the library and in the foyer at different times, because the water has to find somewhere to go. So my question is, is there a way for the water to get out that doesn't include finding a new crack and a new location to leak?
Can you answer that, Julian?
I can try. So through you, Mr. Mayor, the contractor that we had go up there and do all the repairs to the tower and a few other areas, in his professional opinion, has assured me that there shouldn't be any water coming through that tower anymore.
Answer your question.
I will note that as the co-chair of this community center for 10 years, I also had been assured in the past, and our previous building inspector had been assured in the past, that it had been fixed. And then it leaked again, because the problem was never actually dealt with. How does that water escape? And water will find a way.
And I'll make a comment that the new contractor, this contractor tells us it's fixed, and unless we decide we're gonna take off the roof to find out about where it could be coming from, I don't think we can do anything. I think you gotta accept the fact that he's fixed it, because where would you go? Go ahead.
Sorry, I agree with you that that's the process, except that we've been down that road multiple times as a township in the past. And after 10 years of back and forth and trying to do this, without there being a way for that water to escape, water will find a way to get out of there.
Yes.
If I may, just a little bit of clarity here on the background through you. Staff had 3 companies inspect the roof in 2025. Were you involved with all 3 companies? Yep. Thank you, Jim. All companies all of which agreed the previously identified major repairs are unnecessary. Staff have had the areas of concern causing the leaks repaired for $3,000. I think it says it right there. I mean, are these local contractors?
Yes, they are.
So if we find that, oops, there's a leak, then we can call them in, because would their work be insured? Is that what our agreement, or what's the word I'm
I think
looking
the
for?
word is guaranteed.
Or guaranteed. Do we have an agreement that if the work was faulty, that they'll come back and fix it? I guess you can't answer that, that would be in the agreement, so.
I can't really answer that. Most contractors will address any issues with the direct work that they've done. If you're talking about a leak that is stemming from somewhere that is not in the area that they fixed up, I can't comment on what their agreement would be there.
Thank you, Mayor Lobo.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Go ahead, Councilor Booth.
Through your worship, just a clarification, then it talks about installing air conditioning. So are we looking at a heat pump, which is air conditioning and heat, or are we just looking at air conditioning?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we would be looking at both options. Whichever one is most financially viable for this facility.
So should that motion be changed then in there, because it says to install air conditioning in the hall?
Well, we can put it back, yes, we can put in motion back.
Air conditioning / heat pump.
I think it's a good idea, we should do that.
Good to have a heat pump in here today.
And whatever one's better, that's what we'll put in at a reasonable cost. Any further discussion? All in favor? Mover to second. Take that. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover and seconded by Councilor Ainsworth. Further discussion? All in favor? That's carried. Next, we're here to discuss the notice of motion regarding the arena floor replacement and structural inspection project submitted by Councilor Ainsworth. Everybody had a chance to read that, familiar with what the recommendation is? Go ahead, Mr. Governor.
Thank you, Mayor. So, I mean, I hope this is pretty self-explanatory to everybody. And, you know, just to reiterate the importance of doing this way instead of fundraising for 3 years to try to do it. We all know that arena, we're on borrowed time with it right now. It's working great. Keep our fingers crossed that we don't have any issues this winter. But we need to address this thing immediately. And getting anybody to be shovel ready in the 1st of April, every day counts right now. So, you know, I'm hoping that we can pass it today and finally get this arena, at least the first step to the arena, as far as the assessment goes, to bed, and secure that for the next 20 years or so, and move on from there. So, but I would like to ask a couple of questions to staff, if they could clarify. A, what does our borrowing power look like, and maybe C, or D, you know, where are we with, you know, because we've had conversations, we have like 10% of our borrowing structure, where are we with that, are we at 2% and 4%, and that kind of stuff, and do we, you know, are we getting, like, we can do this, like, reassure council that we can do this, and we can afford it. We've got a fundraising committee in place to fundraise to help pay it back. And, but I mean, as far as doing this, that we're in good shape that we can make this happen. So maybe if our CAO, maybe our interim treasurer could maybe answer those couple of questions where we are with all that.
First of all, we won't be able to approve this today because this is only committee of council, so, yeah, just to clarify. I think that's a reasonable request that you're making regarding whether, what it looks like financially, and we should be able to get those answers.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Karen? Go ahead, Catherine.
So, and it's referenced here in this motion before us, we did direct staff to investigate funding models back in June. When can council expect to see that report coming to us?
Did you give it from
I would have to discuss that with Aaron. Through you, Mayor, the discussion here with respect to this was that Councillor Ainsworth approached us and said, what do we need to do to fast track this? He was concerned with making sure the project broke ground in the spring of 26, and with respect to that, it was recommended to him to bring a notice of motion to council. It is our understanding that, and I've just seen our draft report that's coming to council next week for the finance review, that we have a considerable amount of borrowing power that we're not utilizing. We're currently, to answer your question, Councillor, we're sitting at 4%. So the conversation with Councillor Ainsworth with respect to this motion is what can we do to get this moving forward and get it moving forward quickly. Council has established a fundraising committee, which will ultimately raise funds. So the suggestion to council is that we could get going on the project, because we will need to get a project, an engineer to basically, or a project manager to deal with this build or this construction, but so that we could go to RFP. Because if we don't start now, we won't stand a chance to get somebody next April. So the idea was that we could get going in principle. We don't know what funds we would need to borrow because we don't know what power our fundraising committee will ultimately exude. So with respect to that, the idea was to move forward with some funds. We have a significant amount in our development charges account, to the tune of almost funding the entire project. We have alternative reserves as well, and we have borrowing power. So the ability to move this one forward would be just merely to get it started, and then after the first meeting with the fundraising committee, ultimately, probably sometime in the new year, we would be able to return to council with an update status on where we are and what we would need to do. There may be a risk. The risk would be that we may need to borrow, which, again, as identified, that you'll get a report next week, is actually not a risk to this township. The idea is that we may need to borrow whatever leftover funds there are, which is probably highly unlikely, to pay for the project. So the idea was just to move the yardstick forward here, let staff get going, get out to market to procure, and come back to council as we update.
Thank you, Catherine.
Respectfully, this was my motion in June to have a report come to us to explain how this is a financially viable project. I am still unclear why that is what was asked for, that covers what you are talking about. And I do repeat my question, when will we receive the report that was asked for by all of council at our June meeting about how to make this a financially viable project?
Thank you. I think David said that he's going to meet with Aaron and we'll try and get that information to us. And he's also said that we consultant coming in next week to maybe not directly answer your specific question, but to give us an idea of where we sit.
If I may, clarity and directly to Councillor Neal. I don't know if I can answer if it's a financially viable project. That's a question I'm not sure. How to move the project forward, how to get the funds to do so, I can. But the viability of the project, I would think, would have been answered through the needs assessment. But I don't think I'm going to be able to answer if it's a viable project or not. I don't think.
Go ahead, Councilor O'Neill. Or pardon, Councilor Ainsworth.
Thank you, Mayor. To me, I believe that this motion is answering Councilor O'Neill's question where it says that, they'll what we need for the project, 3.75 million in funding through the combination of, debentures, municipal loans, capital reserves, development charges, grants and donations, and sale of surplus land. To me, that's answering her question. I don't see wherever else we're going to go and come up with something different other than that. So, I hope that would be a good enough.
For debating, is there any questions for our public works person? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Parks person.
Oh, sorry.
I got to move it up or down, I'm not sure. I got to figure it out anyways.
Would it be a fair question? Hang on here, my finger slipped. Is there a cost associated with, now therefore be resolved that council authorize municipal staff to initiate the design build process for the arena floor replacement structural inspection project with an anticipated start. Would there be a cost associated with that, Mayor Lowell, to Jeremy?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, that would be starting the project or the initial stages anyway, so for sure it would be a cost associated with that.
This would be the whole kit and caboodle, and then you get going. Thank you.
Go ahead, Councilor O'Neill. Oh, I'm sorry, Councilor.
So just to clarify, because I had the same question, to initiate the design, what costs are we talking about then? I know, Dave, you were talking about putting out an RFP or whatever it is and making sure that we get our ducks in a row so that we can have this done. What are we talking about now for costs? Like, are we going to somebody to do the design build and then put out the RFP, or do we know exactly what we want and we're putting out an RFP, or what? Like, where are we going? What's our next stage if we approve this?
Jerry?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, my experience with doing these projects in the past is to keep it on time with the timeline that's been identified. And the most financially responsible way is to bundle all of it together in one RFP and have the entire project go as one. When you start to piecemeal it, step by step, it slows it down and does become more expensive.
Next question? Go ahead.
Yeah, and I agree with that comment. I know speaking with, for example, Simcoe, when we spoke to them last year, they now do all one. They will be the general contractor and they'll do everything. Not only will they tear up the floor and everything, they'll do the glass, the boards and everything, and then it's all under that. I was just wondering though, so are we looking at putting out an RFP because we know exactly what we want, or is somebody doing that RFP for us? Is that what they mean by initiate a design build?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, my recommendation would be to put out an RFP for an engineering firm to project manage the project.
To bring in the concepts?
Yeah.
Okay, so then that RFP, and then we're looking at, then after that, then going through that. Okay, so it's gonna take a long time then.
Well, to get it both done.
You gotta do one to get the engineering firm, and then the next one, yeah.
Okay. Councilor O'Neill.
Through you to our manager. The experience of the Emily Omeni Arena, they too had a small ice surface and then they did replace it last summer, so this is very current experience, but they were able to replace it with a larger ice surface. And I certainly know that's one thing I've heard from a number of people over the last few days is they don't want this to remain an undersized arena. If it's being replaced, they want it to be a full-size rink. So I'm wondering if you are familiar or have talked to anyone involved in that project with the Emily O'Meara Arena, and if that's a possibility for us.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I haven't spoken to anybody from City of Kawartha Lakes about that facility. I'm actually not familiar with it myself. I do know that expanding the footprint of the slab was not in the recommendations from Sierra Planning in the most recent needs assessment.
Thank you, Paula.
I would recommend to talk to them because the price point is very similar to the price point we're looking at here.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but 3.75 million, does it not include more than just the resurfacing the floor as well as the pipes?
Yeah, it would include board and glass, it would include pump and chiller, switching from brine to glycol, the refrigeration system. It would not include expanding the footprint. It would still be 170 by 70.
Okay. Any other questions? Go ahead, Councilor Ainsworth.
Through you, Mayor, just a question that I guess to clear my own mind. If we were to hire someone like Chemical or someone like him, would they not have their own engineers to run the project? That would maybe speed up the process.
Go ahead, Jeremy. You okay?
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think about what I want to say in my answer to that. We wouldn't, I mean, we would still have to do an RFP, obviously. We wouldn't just single source everything to Simcoe right away or anything like that. It would be a process. This type of project, I can tell you from experience, takes a substantial amount of time. If staff was overseeing it directly, I couldn't really give you an intelligent answer on what else the overseeing staff member would be able to accomplish during that 4 or 5 month shutdown period. There's a number of different benefits to retaining a qualified engineering service to oversee this kind of project, including signing off on plans and stuff that do come forward from the companies that are doing the design build.
Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Vogel. And I guess with us finally making the commitment to move forward, that would that put us in a better frame for funding from the province and the feds?
Can you answer that?
I cannot.
Did you have a comment? I did not. That's a pretty tough question, I think.
Well, I think we have a commitment. If you don't have a commitment, then chances of getting funding would be nil. We haven't gotten any, so thank you.
Go ahead, Councilman Booth.
Through you, your worship, I guess I'll answer it because we all know in all the projects, if you're shovel ready and you have studies done and everything like that, the government's more willing to give you a grant or money than somebody's that's just got a pie in the sky thing. So once we get that report and we get prices and everything like that, then I'm sure that people will pony up for the money, right?
That's a much better chance. And just so you're aware, I sent the clerks this morning, I did get a notification from Loma, and they are asking for delegation.
Yes, I did see that. Thank you.
Go ahead, Councilor Ainsworth.
Just one final comment, and it's again, it's about the engineer. If we were hired a company that has done this multiple times, you know, it's like a contractor coming in to build a school, they've done it 100 times. would they just not have their own, I mean, in light of time and cost, if we hired a company that have done this 10 times, they would have all the things in place to do this. I guess that's just my question. And to keep it in one package and save us a lot of time trying to find another engineer to slow the process up. That's just my comment. If it's not possible, then we need it.
I'm not sure, isn't that what we're suggesting or no?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, that's kind of what we're suggesting. An engineering company that would project manage this type of construction is also going to do things, sign off on the design and how it's being built, but they're also going to be doing site surveys and stuff, 60-year-old floor being removed, soil tests and stuff on the ground underneath. There's a lot more to the overall project than just ripping one out and putting one in.
Through you to our deputy mayor, your question you just asked is the same question I have had all along about the potential for funding and the viability of the project, and that was what I had hoped this report that we asked for in June. But I'll follow up. 3 of the people sitting here today did attend the conference with the on the Aging Facilities Conference. Were there any resources or information that could help us that came forward from that?
I never attended.
Didn't Mike and Greg and Jeremy all attend?
No, I didn't go.
No, so 2 of you attended?
No, it was full.
Oh dear, did you attend? Did they have any information or anything to bring back? And it is unfortunate. It would have been good if we could have had more people there.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the ORFA has a number of resources, and they call it their online toolkit through their website, where they provide examples and resources for aging rec. Probably the largest takeaway is that the Township of Age is not alone in its aging recreation infrastructure. If anything, those 3 days, solidified the need for action and the amount of liability on the corporation as a whole by not addressing the obvious need.
Any other further questions for Karen? Item 1. If you get the okay to start going in the next 2 weeks, will you be able to land this thing by April 1st? And have license by September or October?
I can't answer that today. What I could tell you is staff would get going on it right away. Being able to start by April or May feels like an attainable goal. Having the project completed by September does depend on a lot of different unknown variables. For example, the soil that's underneath the floor right now. Nobody would be able to give you that 100% concrete answer. No pun intended on concrete.
I just have one little quick one more. Do you anticipate having a longer ice time with new equipment?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, there's no climate control in that facility. The ice season is very much dependent on the weather.
Thank you. Your captain.
This is a follow-up to your answer you just gave to me about the liability thing. And you said there's liability from not addressing known issues. What issues do we know? What is our potential in there? I know we've heard that there would need to be an upgrade to the fire system, but is there potential that we're triggering needs to meet a whole lot of other issues?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, obviously the biggest known potential failure is the floor. It has shown failures before that current staff have addressed and remedied, but it's been clearly identified in a number of studies that have come before this council and councils before that that floor is past its life expectancy.
Any other further questions for Karen? Thank you, Jeremy. We need a mover and a second. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover, seconded by Councilor Ainsworth. Discussion.
Thank you, Mayor Lowell. I agree that we move forward, that we start the process, and I'm in favor of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor O'Neill.
I am interested and concerned both with the list, debenture funding, financing, and municipal loans. Are they not the same thing? Anyway, just because we have room to take a loan, where is our room to fund a loan? That's the bigger question. Capital reserves, we have a little bit there. Development charges, again, we have a little bit there. We are going to get a grants and donation strategy, I assume, from our ad hoc committee. And the last one, the sale of surplus land. I know that at one point, well, we've had a few different ideas being floated around by a member of this council. And in particular, I point out, for example, when Sandy Bay was floated as a potential, we could sell that and generate revenue. That's a theory that didn't go over well. No one at the recreation meeting wanted to second that, so it never moved forward. But those are the kinds of things that upset the community when they feel like everything is going to Grafton and nothing is going to the north half of the municipality. So I have real hesitations about the sale of surplus land being on there, because I think it has the potential to be very upsetting to people in our community. And I'm not sure that we have much room to raise taxes to cover a new loan and a new expense.
Thank you. Other comments? None? Okay. The motion is?
Actually, I do have a question through to our CAO. If we move forward on saying and putting our RFP out there before we know how we're going to fund it, what happens if we come back and we say, wait a minute, we're not going to raise taxes for this, and we don't have enough money to carry the loan to do it, because we don't have enough money anywhere else than a loan, and we don't have a financial plan to fund a loan. And yet we're going to say that we're going to send out an RFP for 3.75 million?
If I could, before Presidio answers, would this information be coming forward for the next meeting? I just ask either our Madam Clerk or our CAO, when do you expect to have this information forward, like the financial part of it, the funding, things like that?
I would suggest to you, Mayor, after the finance review, the report was coming next week.
Okay.
But I've already identified and answered the question about what monies we had. That I don't see this as being a great difficulty if council's wanting to move the project forward. It's up to council. Staff will do the work to find out. Staff will do the work to obtain the funding. We also have the opportunity for grant. I listed it all before, so until we get our feet wet in this project, do we have more than the project in reserves in total combined, including development charges? Without question.
Okay, thank you. That answers it. Mayor will want her to,
Just another final comment, to Councilor O'Neill. You can't sit here and say that the people out Sandy Bay, they don't want to lose it, and then sit here and bring up reasons why they can't fix the arena when we got people that love it and money. So I have a hard time listening to that, and because I know where you stand when it comes to the arena. So this is important. We have a meeting here about the arena. This place is full. We have a meeting about a 5 or 6 or 7% increase in our budget. We might have one person show up. So that arena is important to this community. And we need to fix it. We need to get off our butts and make the decision and make that happen. And every day, every week, every night that we stall this is going to have an issue with our staff trying to put people in place to be shovel ready to do this. It's had multiple fixes, we all know that. We closed it down one time and we fixed that up and we fixed it, opened it back up, we got a good year. Well, hopefully we're gonna keep our fingers crossed for another year, but this thing has to be ready for the 1st of April, or maybe even earlier, depending on the ice schedule and the groups that we have on there. They can give up a couple of weeks here and there, because I think a couple of weeks is very important in putting this together. So let's not pit one against the other. This needs to be fixed.
Thank you. Your Catherine?
I've always spoken that Grafton needs a great community center. Grafton does need a great community center. But I want to challenge somewhat about reserves. I watched our neighbors in Crammy fund an arena at the expense of their roads. I do not want to fund our arena at the expense of our roads.
And I don't think anybody else does that either.
If we're taking it from our general reserve to pay for it, that general reserve is for all departments, including our roads department.
Mayor, may I say that we're fundraising to replace this? So it's like we're borrowing it?
Yep.
Thank you.
I appreciate that comment.
I'm ready to call vote. It was moved by Deputy Mayor Stover and seconded by Councillor Ainsworth. I'm just going to read the bottom. That staff continue to engage with the Halton Memorial Arena and Recreation Complex fundraising ad hoc committee to explore funding opportunities. Just that. Okay. The actual motion reads, now therefore be it resolved, the council authorize municipal staff to initiate the design build process for an arena floor replacement and structural inspection project with an anticipated start date of as soon as possible, and council authorize staff to secure up to 3.75 million in funding through a combination of debenture financing, municipal loans, capital reserves, development charges, grants and donations, and surplus of sales of surplus land, as appropriate and in accordance with the municipal financial policies and practices, and that staff continue to engage with the Halton Memorial Arena and Recreational Complex fundraising ad hoc committee to explore funding opportunities for replacement of loans or replacement reserve replenishment, and that staff report back to council with a detailed financial and implementation plan prior to the start of the tender process for the arena floor replacement and structural inspection project. All in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Yes.
Mayor, at this time, if I make a motion, if staff can this come back to our planning meeting next week? Because in the light of time, you know, another week, another month, if this waits till it comes back to a meeting next month, then we're that far behind the game.
Are you making that motion?
Yes.
Can I get a second? Council, seconded by Councillor Booth. Is that possible to do? If we, have to wait for the week for that report? Okay. Have to be done. All in favor? That motion's carried. Any further discussion? No further discussion. We're going to move on to move on to administrative reports. Yes.
Go grab a coat.
Huh?
Go grab my coat, okay?
Can I grab your vest too? Can I grab a vest too?
Yes.
Mike, you want to do this with it?
Yeah, we'll be back about it. September 2025 quarter three financial reporting. And Aaron's here to answer some questions, if you have any questions, or you want to take us through what you have next?
Everything's there. Everything's written in the report. I had managers update their own sections, so they are responsible for their own section.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Go ahead, Councilor O'Neill.
So I just received an answer from our CAO, but I think it's worthwhile if everyone knows my question and the answer, because it was a good one. The formatting here I'm finding difficult to follow, and I sent in some questions, and in particular, can we please receive the quarterly review formatted similar to the public works section and how it is formatted? That is the account, the description, the budget, and the year-to-date remaining. And then could we also receive a consolidated budget similar to what we have in our budget booklet that we received for this year? So that would be the budget revenues, the budget expenses, the year-to-date revenues, the year-to-date expenses, and the variance from the budget. So I found out that this is something that's going to be addressed next week when we have our presentation regarding the department, and it would be my preference to defer this and, listen to what we hear next week, and then, look at our formatting for our, quarterly reports to council.
Thank you. Any other comments? Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Through you, Mayor Lowell. Thank you for that, Councillor Neal. We're just receiving this for information, is that correct? And then next week, we would have the paper, so we would really need to defer it. Because we're just receiving this for information. Is that the process?
There was no process. We do whatever we want. Whatever we agree to.
No, but to defer this, but we're receiving it for information at a county meeting. Is that how this works? Clerk?
Through Mr. Mayor, as a matter of procedure, anything that's received for information committee of the whole, this is as far as it goes. It doesn't get forwarded on any further because there's no decision to be ratified by council at its next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, your copy.
Would it preclude then, getting this, I think Q3 really, really matters because it's our last chance to look at what this year's budget was meant to accomplish and make any last minute corrections to make sure we've accomplished what we hope to accomplish with this budget. But it also provides us our foundation to say, well, where are their needs for the coming year? And without doing this, and then I started doing some calculations, which I kept getting interrupted from because yesterday was Phone Mary Catherine Day, apparently. Anyway, I could see that some of our variances in multiple lines were quite large when you're looking at, you know, less than 10% of the budget, for example, in, was it conservation had been spent? Well, why is that? I'm not seeing that in our comments. So there was just a lot of those types of questions that I was having, and I very much appreciate and knowing that next week we are going to be discussing some of these things and making improvements on these things. But I do still feel a need. I agree that that's fine, we could receive it for information, but it's not provided the information that I feel like I need as a councillor to say, did we accomplish what we've set out to accomplish this year? And where are the items we need to be looking at as we go into the upcoming budget? Because this is the biggest job we have each year, is making sure that the budget is there for the projects that need to be there. And we've certainly had some discussions about what that looks like if we don't plan for it around items like the arena that just keeps getting kicked down and kicked down. So anyway, that's just it. I would like to see a different format. This discussion has happened at Q2, it happened at Q1, so this is an issue that's carrying forward, and I look forward to next week where we discuss how to improve it.
I have put a couple of comments too. I found some of it very useful and some of it's very difficult to understand.
Exactly.
But I'm sure that, in my opinion, you know, the one that really, not to pick on one, the 17% of the total budget in, what we call what's it called, the central one, administration. And it's very difficult to pull anything through there, but some of the other stuff was. So I agree with what Councilor O'Neill's saying. I'm not going to pull it up though for till next week. But it behooves us to get good information because the budget is coming and we're going to have to make some decisions on the budget. So that's all I got to say. Anybody else have any further comments or questions? Do you have any comments, Aaron?
So next week, it will be MNP giving the information.
Yeah.
It will not be regarding so much as the numbers in the budget.
No, that's the process though.
The process will be, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just so that you
Yeah,
guys
that was what it was, is a process question and moving forward, because this is an ongoing struggle for us as council members.
Thank you. Any further questions of the, okay. Can I get a mover and a second to receive the report for information? Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover, seconded by Councilor Booth. Further discussion? Yes.
This may be through the clerk, but it doesn't preclude, once we've had our process discussion, the opportunity to bring it back. It wouldn't be Q3, maybe it might be to the end of November, October or the end of November, and look at these numbers again in a easier to utilize format. That wouldn't preclude them from coming back, is my question.
I don't think it would.
Okay, thank you.
If we have questions regarding the budget, we'll ask them, but I don't know, we don't need to have the whole thing brought down to us. What I'm suggesting. All in favor? That's carried. Annual meeting schedule. Okay. Thank you, Aaron. Anybody got any questions or comments on the schedule as proposed? I have one comment. The January one, where we have 3 meetings, I would suggest we cut that back to 2 meetings. Because I know that January is really busy for staff, as well as Roma's on. There was a suggestion that we move our second meeting to Wednesday. I won't be here, because I've already got a commitment for that. I mean, you can have it if you want, but I think in other years we've only had 2 meetings as well.
And not have the cow.
And not have the cow, or if we do have to have something that has to be at the cow, we can maybe perhaps put some other things into the, but I don't think, that's my recommendation. Anybody else go ahead and copy?
I would just note also that we will be having budget meetings happening at that time, so perhaps that's a sensible comment.
Anybody else have any further comments? Seeing none, can I get a mover in this? Can I get a mover and a seconder that we'll cancel the one meeting, which is the
January 21st.
Okay. Second by Councilor Booth. Any further discussion? Councilor, Deputy Stover. Yep.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, because we didn't have a mover and seconder to receive the report and to approve it as presented, are we looking to move the motion that I'm about to read here? That committee of the whole receives the report for information, and that committee of the whole recommends to council that the 2026 annual meeting schedule be approved with the removal of the January 21st committee of the whole meeting. Just in the interest of time, so we're not motioning.
Yep. So that's been moved and seconded. All in favor? That's carried. Next, we have the report elections, alternate voting methods, internet and telephone voting. The report's there. Does anybody have any questions for the clerk? Go ahead. Deputy Mayor.
To your Mayor, well, I don't want to open a can of worms. Just so I have it clear in my mind, the office will be open if people want to come in personally and vote by the phone or computer. Is that how this will work? I think that's how it's signed up.
Through Mr. Mayor, yes, we are looking to have a voter center set up at the office, but we're also looking this year at doing rotating voter information centers as well. So we'll be going out to communities, into our community centers and setting up on site so that if anybody does have that internet or phone issues, that there is somewhere in their immediate community that they can come during the advanced polling system, or advanced polling period, to come on and vote. Also those voter centers as well that will be going out to communities will give individuals who want that traditional feel of come out and vote the ability to do so, even though there will not be paper ballots that we're proposing. They'll still be in electronic format, but you still get that social aspect of the come out and vote.
Oh, perfect, thank you.
Anybody else have any other questions? Go ahead, Councilor Booth.
Through your worship, just, I guess, I've had a couple of people contact me about this, and I guess one of their questions were, you just answered some of it, Emily, is will some of these be offered in the evening? When they're going out to, say, Roseneath or Centre Trinidad, are these just going to be helping them in the daytime, or will there be somebody here in the evening that can help somebody that is working during the day and can't attend in the daytime?
Go ahead.
So through Mr. Mayor, yes, we are looking at running staggered times for these, so some will be evenings, weekends, so that that option is there. Again, the municipal office during office hours will also be another for the full 2 weeks as well.
Okay, and my last question is, do we know how many people actually voted by ballot last election?
We do, I don't know, we've got the information, have we got the information? Good.
It was posted on the website.
Oh, yes.
I'll be in there.
Okay, I haven't looked at it. Go ahead, Mary Catherine.
I believe this is the 4th time we've done this, and it has worked well, and each time there have been fewer people coming in. The first 2 times it was library staff that was operating the assistance for voters when they came in and how to go about accessing. It was assistance with the technology. And then last time, I believe it was at the fire hall and at the municipal office in Grafton, were the 2 locations people could go in. But each time there's fewer people who are using it because we are used to doing this. But Mayor Local, I do have a motion related to it that I'd like to make after we've dealt with this motion.
And I guess, anybody else have any questions? I guess I was just trying to figure out, I think it said something like there was almost 7,000 people that were eligible to vote. And it was going to cost $350 or something like that for each person. Is that calculation based on 6,700 people voting, or is it based on what we usually get for 5,500 people, or not, 2,500 people?
So through Mr. Mayor, when planning an election, we have to operate on the assumption that everybody will vote, because everybody has the right to vote. Whether only 26 or 30% actually exercise that right is their right to do so. But however, as a municipality and making sure that we have a fair and equitable election, we do plan that everybody is, so everybody has that chance and opportunity, so we have to pay the full amount for the number of electors.
So 20,000 bucks, nothing. No matter how many.
Correct, yes. The numbers in the.
Thank you. And do you have that?
So in the 2022 election, we had 35% of voters eligible, 100 of those using the internet and 362 using the phone to vote.
Thank you.
And nobody voted by ballot? There was no ballot vote?
There was none.
Can I get a move in second or accept the report? Moved by Deputy Mayor Silver, second by Councilor Ainsworth. Okay, recommendation is that the bylaw be brought forward to council to authorize the use of alternate vote methods, internet and telephone during the 2026 municipal and school board elections. Thank you. So that's the motion. Mover to seconder? Or did we already get that? Okay. Any further questions? All in favor? That's carried. Mary Catherine, you have something else?
Yes, so to segue into,
Part of the agenda, is it close enough?
it certainly is.
Okay.
It's segue into the voter participation, and this is Whereas the Township of Alnwick-Haldeman supports the objectives of AMO's Healthy Democracy Project to attract diverse candidates to municipal office, support elected officials to be equity-informed leaders, promote more respect for people engaged in democratic processes, encourage greater participation in local democracy and to increase voter turnout, and to promote greater civic engagement and a greater awareness of the role of municipal government. And whereas preparations for the 2026 municipal elections are commencing, that the Council of the Township of Alnwick-Haldeman allocate $2,000 in the 2026 budget for projects to address these objectives.
Is that your motion?
Yeah.
Does that have to go to Lois' motion? Doesn't it?
Can be made on the floor, doesn't relate to the.
It should. It's okay.
It's on the floor, it's up to you whether or not.
Okay. My opinion, that aligns with what we're talking about, so we're gonna permit that to go. I'll need a mover and second to do that.
So I moved it.
Moved by, Councilor O'Neill, seconded by Councilor Booth. Any questions or comments? Go ahead, Councilor, for
Through you, Mayor Vogel, just wondering if I may ask Councilor Neal what the $2,000 would be used for?
Excellent question. So primarily I'm envisioning that it would be for use of space, but potentially for a guest speaker. So I went to the Rural Democracy Forum, but there are people in neighboring municipalities who attended that one, some who attended the one that just happened last week in Toronto. And I think we're going to look at something coordinated so that different places within Northumberland County, we're helping people decide what does it mean if you want to run. So some of them would be events trying to encourage good people to run. Some of them would be to address the last one there, really understanding what our municipal, like what falls into municipal as opposed to provincial and federal, what are we dealing with, and getting a better understanding and engagement from voters. And then the last piece of it would be when the election campaign is actually happening. I know that we had a resident who ended up funding out of her own resources the information day that we had here that was paid for by an individual. I would like to see moving forward that as a council, we agreed to have, you know, potentially 3 events across the municipality, sort of meet the candidates. So it's.
I think our clerk has a comment regarding that, not to interrupt people. Go ahead. Please.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, so to your point, Councillor Neal, I was at the forum this weekend in Toronto with several of our neighboring municipalities, so we were strategizing on how we can do just this, to provide that more support, that training up front, so people know what it is they're actually signing on for, what it comes along with, the roles and responsibilities, and what the actual delineation is between council and staff, the time commitment involved and whatnot. The other piece of it as well is how can we get more participation, a more diverse ballot as well. One of the big issues that came out of the forum this weekend was the number of acclamations in the 2022 municipal election, and it was far too high for anybody to be truly comfortable with if we're supposed to be having a democratic society. So the conversations are happening. This is something that at our clerk's table as well, with all clerks within Northumberland County, that we are looking at hosting these groups these types of events in collaboration with each other, because again, it's a divide and conquer. We all have the same end result, and we all want the same outcome, which is, again, healthy democracy. But I am more than happy to allocate an additional $2,000 to my election budget to help move this along.
Go ahead, Councilor Booth.
Thank you, Your Worship, through you, and I agree with this motion. I know at last election there was a private member of the community that had to pay for this hall so that we could come in here and have a meet and greet, and I don't think that's right. I think the township should be looking at providing here, Roseneath, Vernonville, and Grafton, free for a meet and greet, or even if there's debates. I know we had just the one thing at Fenella, and that was the only thing. So if you didn't come to the meet and greet or you didn't go to Fenella, there was nothing. So I think it's a great opportunity for us as the township. We should be looking at next year, booking these spaces off during the election. That I did love the meet and greet that was here. There was probably hundreds of people that came, right? Gives you an opportunity to come out and see who's running and ask questions. So
And there
I
was
like
one
that.
in Grafton as well, that time as well.
Okay. Seconder, all in favor? That's carried. Moving on to communications, and we'll try this again. There's 4 items, I believe, that are here, and if you want to hold one, please indicate now. Otherwise, we're going to receive each and every one of them for information. So, item 01, not Northumberland Land Trust.
That's already happened.
Okay. I know that. Alderville First Nation, anybody want to pull that? Township of East Garibaxa, HER election respect campaign. I'd like to pull that. And the final one is Ryan Ostrander, Mayor Ryan Ostrander's blatant municipality right use of automatic speed enforcement.
I'd like to pull that one.
Okay. Let's do the first 2. We'll receive for information. That's the Northumberland Land Trust and Alderville First Nations. Mover and seconder to receive for information. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover, seconded by Councilor O'Neill. Any discussion? Go ahead.
So I attended the Northumberland Land Trust Gala, and I was there last year as well. Last year, it's the only politician in the room. This year, it was crawling with politicians, so that entertained me. But their project for this year is to do a rehabilitation of the Lori Lawson Education Center up in Hamilton Township. So just wanted to let you know what this year's project is for them.
Thank you. All in favor of those 2? Motion's carried. Township of East Garibaxa, HER election respect campaign. I just want to bring to everybody's attention, and I hope people are going to respect this more diligently, and I think we need to voice our opinion to make it strong that we expect all of our campaign people running, as well as people supporting them or being involved in there, that they respect other people's rights. So how do you move a seconder for that? Moved by Councilor Booth, seconded by Councilor Ainsworth, all in favor? Motion's carried, and we have 2 people that are asking me to pull Brian Ostrander's municipality of Brighton use of automated speed enforcement. Can I get a mover and second for that? Moved by Councilor Ainsworth, seconded by Councilor O'Neill. Go ahead, Councilor Ainsworth.
I guess to you, Mayor, I'm just wondering if this like a snowball effect? Is that what the mayor's asking for, through the municipality?
He wanted to know, he was asking, my recollection, he was asking the pre-report to continue on with this because he felt that it was not a money grab, it was actually slowing traffic down. And he was encouraging the kids to continue on. And
Well, yes, thank you. But there are multiple negative parts to these cameras and stuff too, when it comes to the public and, you know, when it comes to, dates and times and not to say that they don't have a purpose, but, you know, if that was going to help out through the province or even our little township, it would seriously have to look at positive, also the negative part of it too. So that would be my comment.
thank you. Go ahead, Mayor Chapman.
Oh, well, I think we're unclear on what a motion is on the floor because I asked for this to be held because I do want to support the mayor and our warden in this letter that he has sent, because I do think it is something that municipalities do want to have within their toolbox of potential things to use, because in front of schools at drop-off and pick-up times, but even during the day if they're going on a class walk or something, we need that space to be safe in front of our schools, and I want this to be an option in the toolbox.
Thank you. Anybody else have any further comment? Go ahead. Deputy Mayor.
To you, Mayor Lobo, the only comment I had was I did get calls from bright people about this. A lot of times they were, if it was, was it a 40, I don't know, was it posted 40 or 50? I didn't know where the trigger was. Maybe it would be a 40. So it would have been 40. They were doing 42, so automatically, if they got shot over as a ticket. I don't know if there's a way of adjusting it for that increments of 5, I don't know. But if somebody with a POA ticket that was doing 42 and a 40, it wouldn't go anywhere, it would get thrown out. So I do agree with them, but I would like to see some kind of a 5% increments, but I mean, now we're getting down to the operating of the darn thing, so I do see that it has slowed down.
Any other comment? Go ahead, Councilor.
Through you, your worship, I support this also. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. They used to have 300 violations a day, and now it's dropped down to just 73. And the best way to make somebody stop from speeding is if you can't have the police there with a radar gun, and if you have a camera that's there all the time, and only in front of things like, schools and things like that, then you know what, you deserve the ticket. And I'm not quite sure what the setting is, but I've been under the understanding, the research I've done is you don't get a ticket at 42, that they set it to something that's a little bit more reasonable, right? I know I received one of these tickets at Ajax in front of the school, but I was 8 or 9 over or whatever, and I deserved it. But I'll tell you what, I'll never speed on that street again because I know that I'm gonna get a ticket. So I agree with this. I think this is the way to go, and I don't agree with Premier Ford that says that there's speed bumps that you can put and things like that, because they proved they haven't worked in the past.
So go ahead, Mayor.
Through you, Mayor, without getting into all the without just the definitions of some of these things that are the negative part. Although I do believe all the comments are good and they are probably okay in some areas. But some of the negative, the definitions of public perception and revenue generation, placement concerns, due process and legal challenges, administration burden and errors, and drivers' behavior and safety risk. Right, so, and equality and disproportionation of impact. So these are some of the negative things that affecting this in questions, and so there's lots of negative stuff there versus some of the positive stuff.
Okay, so I'm going to suggest that we send a letter to the Premier saying that, in principle, we would support the radar, but we need to change them and take into consideration AMO's recommendations, which was to modify them. How's that sound? Did you catch that?
And can we get that AMO policy online, that read?
It's there.
It's there?
Yeah. Moved by Mary White and seconded by Mary Catherine. That we should, in principle, we support, and the recommendation is to send a letter to the Premier with AMO policy, recommendations to be included. And you want to send that to, we should send that to Brian, probably all of the county representatives as well. All in favor? That's carried unanimously. That concludes our, actually does not conclude, but ends our regular portion of the meeting. We will be coming back into it after close. But first we'll be going into closed session, and the motion that we need to approve is that the committee of the whole meeting of October 21st, 2025, moved into a closed session under Municipal Act Sections 239 for litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board. K, position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality of local boards. And this is regarding building code litigation as well as warming center negotiations. And before that, I'd just like to state in public, there will be no discussion about or possible motions or anything like that that deal with the warming center that could not be handled in open session. Shall I get moved in second? Moved by Councilor Ainsworth, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stover. All in favor? That's carried. We'll take a second to come out of open session and go into closed. And Sean, you'll be able to attend, or we'd like you to I'd like to report out of, closed, and into open session that council received 2 reports in closed session regarding the building code litigation as well as warning center negotiations. And the comment is that any official requests to the township for use of the Vanilla Hall as a warming center will be openly discussed at a future council meeting if required. So I need a mover and a seconder to receive the report out of closed. Moved by Councillor Booth, seconded by Councillor O'Neill. All in favor? Motion's carried. That the committee of the whole meeting held on October 21st, 2025 be adjourned at 1:30 p.m. Mover and a seconder, moved by Councillor O'Neill, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stover. Any discussion? All in favor? That's carried. And thank you very much and have a great day.
Thank you, everybody.
Is that it?
Hasta la vista.